Oh. Oh God, sorry guys, I wasn't paying attention. Hold on. Also, got to turn down the music. I'm listening to Bach right now, and they're just belting out the. It's called "Let the Trumpet Sound" and "Holy F Is It Ever." There we go. Let me know if like what you guys want to see camera wise. If I was just writing down a bunch of flipping notes. I want to show you guys later. Here, I'll switch the camera angle so you can actually see what the heck I'm looking at. By the way, super duper glad to see you guys. Howdy, was looking for you earlier. Sorry, meandering Mike. I was kind of like taking my time. I was like, and also I was thinking, give you guys a poor bloody rest, man. You guys are like maniacs, like boom, boom, boom with live streams and so on and so forth. Yeah, so I just took my sweet time. I needed to eat a bit too. Then I got to just before I was about to get onto a live stream. Hold on, I should stare at the whatever. Just before I got onto the live stream, I noticed Zoe had sent me a couple of videos before going to work, popping off to work, and they were wonderful. What did she say? Well, I mean, just it's weird to hear, but I'm like, you know, it's I shouldn't say that. It's nice to hear. It's weird to say. How's that? But she was proud of me, you know, of the things that I do, and I was just like, oh my god. So that was kind of weird, but well, not weird, but I mean, it's weird to say it. How's that? But it was just also the other thing about because I'm mind-bogglingly self-indulgent, and you know, it just to remind myself of what it used to be like to you know save for things, or just you know delayed gratification and so on and so forth, rather than you know that type of stuff. So, anyways. Back to this flipping game. Also, oh gosh, was I ever happy to hear about William Aarons wanting to take on Greece. And you guys are all like cozy little neighbors if you want to look at it that way. Hey, Charles, super want to talk about, if, or hopefully you can start blabbing your little brains out there with the text about Tenga if you want, or if you're because you did say you're through with it, so I was like, okay, maybe he means through with it as in don't even mention it, through with it. But I was like, it was so cool to actually see, and I was wondering if from the Brits standpoint, in some ways, I know you were saying that it's got, you know, a lot of rules issues or whatever, but I was wondering also if excuse me, part of it is to kind of give it what the Brits were having issues with, maybe. You know what I mean? It was a god awful, horrible thing. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, guys, I'm telling you when I'll show you. Here, I'll switch over the camera angle a bit. Let me know if the volume, like if you guys can't hear stuff. I moved the microphone down a bit so I could actually use notes. I was telling Zoe too, I haven't spent this many hours. It's this low. It's a combination of the low table and using the mouse on the podium, my makeshift podium. And I think, holy Jesus! Before I went and took a nap there at 3-ish, I think, just a little after 3. I got up, I think, at 5:30. I was like, oh, you're gonna pay for this tomorrow, man. I get visions of it's like, God, you wish you were married to or going out with somebody who had to do massage. Oh, good Lord. I'm sure they were thinking that's probably every bloody, you know, somebody who's really good at massage is probably, or a professional is probably thinking, Jesus H. You know, that's, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe you love doing it. I mean, obviously it's with your partner, you love them. So, excuse me. Anyways, there's a combat I would like to try to do down here with the Germans. However, I'm starting to remember to clue in, guys, about the fact that this is not I can take my time. It's don't you know, I don't have to make all the, don't be risky. I get all my whatever in one thing. Oh shoot, I've got to also look up a Sun Tzu quote Zoe wanted me to look up for her or whatever. Oh my God, she also mentioned Sun Tzu today. Like, come on, man. Anyways, so what'd you guys get up to today? After that, darn phone lagging. And maybe it's also partially me. Zoe was talking about it too. because she phoned. She was the one that phoned during the live stream, and she was like, "So weird. I'm talking to you, but you haven't picked up the phone yet." I'm like, "Well, yeah, there's a bit of a delay." Anyways, hold on. I think I yanked my thermostat a bit. No, I'm just full of it. Let me put on some music so I'm just not wandering around with weirdo headphones. And also I can switch the camera angle for you. Please be nice. There we go. So that's the combat there, the one there off to the left. And you'll see those little arrows there. So there we go. So that, I don't know if you can, I'll have to get my reading glasses there. But let me know, guys, if it's like, hey, I want to see this or that or the other thing. Yes, Charles Latour says, yes, it was like, what am I saying? Yeah, we're not, good God, it's just us three. Charles, yes, it was like what happened, except bees and only showed up once. Okay. So it is a frustrating, bloody, drive you up the tree. I think, don't they? I've got one upstairs too. Not Soissons. It's the Boer War one from Legion. Oh, darn it. Which one is that? Something, not revenge, but return or something, but it's two R's together. And I think that's supposedly extremely frustrating to play as well. Yeah. Anyways, here's that little combat here. I'm so flipping close to Kielce right here, if you can see. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but so while I was doing the last live stream bits, the Germans managed to, I didn't plug up this hole, but I don't think I really have to worry. I mean, look, you can see these E7s. I don't know if you can notice, but those are all entrenchments. So I know that it doesn't mean I understand. The Russians can still move across the trench and do, stuff and come back as long as they have a troop there. But I know that they're like me, down to nothing. We just got regiments basically and brigades left, right, and center all over the place. So I'd like to try to make this attack there. Excuse me. I did even bring up here 4 supply point core HQ over here to try to make an attack. That'd be 4, 6, 8. That's only 2 supply points to make that attack. That person would be, though, the Russians would be defending it from the woods. So I don't, we're getting into this limited with 8. I don't know. Should I, you know what I mean? Part of me is like, well, Chris, maybe you should just wait until, but then I'm like, maybe they're going to start solidifying this. Like there's a bunch of holes here. So maybe now's the time. I'd love to nail this little bugger, but I don't have any supply points there. And I don't have enough strength points. I've only got 4. And I've made all the moves here. I certainly want to get these guys off here so that way they'll never have that river, whatever. What else? I would love. Okay. No. As long as I just want to kill the river bonuses. Over here, I wanted to nail this guy here, but yet again, I don't know if you notice, it's a major river thing, and with the zones of control, I can't hop across the major river from zone of control to zone of control. So I brought the core HQ over, maybe do some divisional breakdown, but I can't because he's already down. This is the problem with German troops. They're so freaking strong that even with 2 strength points, I can't break this down anymore. Charles Latour, clinically depressed, cause Carfield smog, eating to quell my, oh man. Charles, Hilla Douse from Legion is the first boar. That's it. The Red Verse Revent, the thing that I think me and a bazillion other people have a really hard time saying, because I don't know what you guys say, but I think I often say like Red Verse Revenge or that type of stuff. Charles, man, I never thought it was one of those people. I've heard a gazillion times of like, I was sad or depressed or whatever, so I went and grabbed some comfort food or whatever. And lately, with work driving me up the flipping tree for years now. But and every once in a while, when it crops up into my head, I'm like, next thing I'm like reaching for something sweet or, something, whatever, or something. It's like, I know that it's like, it's like, shouldn't be doing this, you crazy bastard. But it's like, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell happened to you? You turned into one of those people where you're looking for comfort food. But speaking of which, I don't give an F. It's happening today. Maybe not this amount. I mean, it's insane slice. But look at the size of this monster. I don't know if you noticed it, but that's obscene. I'm not eating that much. I mean, this is look at the size of that thing. That's absurd. And this is beyond decadent cheesecake. It's from Rocco or something, but it's New York style. It's about $30 for. Anyways, I buy it frozen. I talked to the person ages and ages ago, and oh my God, I know I lost my marbles when I had it first time. Anything with blueberries, basically, guys. And she said, yeah, no worries. You can freeze it, just take a little slice and go on. And so that's what I do. I ate a little slice. So I'm going to have to, I'll just put some more off to the side. But oof, it is really darn good. Not as good as one I still talk about. It was at a person's wedding I went to, and their reception, oh my God, the blueberry cheesecake. And that was, I'm not kidding you, that was Zoe born? Yeah, Zoe had so she was, God, less than a year old. So that was, over 25. Well, she'll be 30 this year, man. Crazyville. Oh, sorry. I'm not even looking. Hey, Grog Shed. Cool to see you, man. Oh, yeah. God, I haven't had that. Or, well, since you're from my neck of the woods, a really good, I don't know if you remember the Red Barn, but oh my God, I think they did a pretty damn good apple turnover-y type thing. So here I am in the middle of my Quatre Bras series, and another YouTuber is posting this week. What the hell? That's insane, man. Oh, it's good to see you. It's good to see you, Grog. I'm not too bad. I think it was weird today. I don't know what the hell I was expecting. And Zoe said, maybe that's what you needed to do, is just kind of like find your groove this morning. I just kind of like jumped. I skipped a groove, or if you want to call it that. I just like didn't do any of my scripting stuff. I just went straight into this deep end of unscripted crazy. I was just like, what the hell's going on? And I almost even felt like Mike was throwing me a lifesaver, going, "Okay, I'll hop on." But yeah, and then I was like, "Oh, thank God! I'll just put on my entire playlist from oldest to newest or whatever." It seemed to kind of work because it helped me see the narrative again of the stuff, and then afterwards, it was nice to take a break, and then I got I got to watch Zoe's videos and kind of like pep me up, and then now I'm just like in my own whatever, so that's pretty cool. I just have to remind myself to keep just remember, guys, I have a hard time going back to the flipping commentary and whatnot, but I'll put on some nice chili willy type oh my God, Mike, man, and this cheesecake is insane. Not as, like I said, as good as that one from the wedding, but it's pretty darn close. The only other super duper really enjoyable dessert I like, I like a lot of them, but I think one of them I really enjoy is French vanilla ice cream with blueberries and extremely dark maple syrup. Like Coca-Cola, dark maple syrup. The stuff that is like extremely potent. Like people say you shouldn't, it's cooking maple syrup or whatever, but and there's used to, I don't get it anymore, but I kind of I knew somebody from work that knew somebody from that ran a sugar bush, and I would get it basically practically the last runnings, because she'd be like, Chris, you sure you don't want to get in now, because they don't know when it's going to stop, when the sap's going to stop, and you're pushing your luck. And I was like, well, maybe Grog Shed knows. Oh, my wife makes an amazing homemade English toffee cheesecake, which is kind of what I'm getting into. He may know. I don't know what it's called, but the English translation, and the first time I had them was this fall. They make butter tarts look like diabetic dessert. Nun's farts. I don't know what the French, the actual French. If Dan Pancaldi was, he would know. Nun's farts. But anyways, oh my God! You want to talk sugar crystals? Jesus, Murphy. Anyways, the person that gave it to me, she's like, "Oh yeah, I keep it in the freezer, and I can easily slice it. It's still gooey and whatnot. Hasn't even frozen properly." I'm like, "Oh my God." Oh, I haven't never had that. That's a lot of. I don't think I've ever had any of the Hostess stuff. So you guys ever had the? I think I mentioned it actually on the Not Jay show. The Pillsbury Farm vanilla in a box cake with that amazing thick white icing. I don't know about you guys, but how the hell are any of us adults? Because it just obviously shows how resilient a child's body is. Because you're a tiny little thing, and you're eating the amount of sugar and fat that it's just like, what the hell? You go from 0 to like boom, like eating enough like for 10 people. It's just like, holy, the poor pancreas, man. Anyways, so oh yeah, I wanted to pop on some music. Hold on here. Just maybe some Martin Sturzer or whatever the hell he is. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Yeah, too bad the lecture audio didn't work out. I really wanted to. Anyways, I hope to God you guys go and check out the Pershing lecture series. They're so darn good. And I'd love to chit chat with you guys about them. All right, I'll just pick on his ambient there. There we go. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like the same way in a strange way. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I'd love to know like the amount of genes that are being activated. Well, of course, they're being activated a lot when you're very, very, very young. But even as you're saying, like as a teenager, my God, just amazing. Yeah, the amount of crap I used to eat even before supper as a teenager. Lord have mercy. And skinny as a rake, man. I used to be in grade 7. 85 pounds. So Jesus, Murphy. I don't know how tall I was, but it wasn't 5 feet. I can tell you that much. All right. So I think I'm not going to do the combat. I kind of want to. You have all of the Derville Cree games? Yes, I do. In a weird way, boy, did I ever spend a hell of a lot of money on it in an odd way. So what ended up happening, I got the introductory module first. Okay, I saw it first, hated it online or whatever, looked at stuff, and the map just looked disgusting. I was like, good God, what the hell? And then I was like, well, I'll give it a shot, and I'll grab the introductory module, which tons of people do. It's so bloody affordable. What a smart move. Who the hell is going to pay, Lord knows how much money to take a chance on whatever. And it's kind of intimidating with all these big, tons of maps and tons of counter sheets and Lord knows what's. It appeared here, and then I saw it in person, and I went, I am certainly not playing this game. The map even looks worse in person. I don't know why I tried it. I gave it a shot. It just is. It's so. It's just so small. Like he's got everything down. Like it's so well presented. And I went, okay, I'll give it a shot. But I didn't really get into it. I watched a couple of videos with Justagard doing some stuff with Eastern Front and whatnot. It was just, I think it was like I was mentioning, it was the procedures. Obviously I probably would have, gotten a lot better if, let's say, the second time. I wasn't getting into the narrative. And I'd already played some Tannenberg games before that. I'd played the Tannenberg Spence and Gable game. I played The World Undone 1914 East Prussia, and I'd also played the Decision Games Tannenberg game, which is all three I really enjoy. So, and I did, I know they're different, whatever. But I was just like, I'm just not getting into this. And then I saw but I later on got that monster game bug and wanted to do something about it. Thought Stalingrad 42 looked amazing when I saw Dad versus Son do it. Oh, hold on. Settling for a Klondike vanilla, no sugar. Oh my God. And Charles, man, if you ever, I doubt it. Maybe you guys do have Chapman's there, Chapman's ice cream, but they make a no sugar added. I don't know if you like them, the waffle cones with that little, the nuts and the little layer of chocolate on top. They make one of those things, the Chapman's no sugar. Well, the Grog Shed can get them. Oh, wow. I just wait for them to go on sale, and they are flipping amazing, man. Maps are like those pictures. Yeah, man, you know it. You know it, Mike. Ooh, I don't know that one. The great, oh my God, look who it is, Dan Pancaldi. We're just talking about you, you son of a bee. Because what the heck was it? Oh, Dan, what the hell is the proper French saying for those amazing sweet desserts called nun's farts? What the hell is that? I can't remember what they're properly called, but it was the first time I ever had them in the autumn there, and it made butter tarts like a freaking diabetic dessert. For God's sakes, they're so sugary. Nun's farts. I don't know what the hell that is in French, but that's what they is. Pain de something or other. Anyways, so I was watching Dad versus Son doing Stalingrad 42, and it was big, beautiful, and he had tons. Like I was saying, he had blocks and bingo chips and all kinds of crazy ass stuff going on his things. He had dice to indicate this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, I like this a lot. Because it was scratching my little creative itch. That's why I've been ever since. So, like, even a little kid, when I picked up D&D, I can remember people in high school and whatnot saying, "You're not playing the official D&D." I'm like, gives a shit. Like, what, the Gary Gygax is going to come running and knocking on my door, taking my books away? Like, piss off. So that's the way I've always been, anyways. And then, so when I saw that, I was kind of encouraged. Then I actually, like I said, I had Stalingrad 42, exactly where I had my original map in the living room there, the pea soup map. And started looking, had to start getting the counters going, opened up the rule book. Oh, God, I can remember that afternoon when Stalingrad 42, the knock on the door, and it arrived. I had a Zoom meeting with some colleagues downstairs. I was like, sorry, Stalingrad 42's arrived. Upstairs, so grabbed it, and then I saw it, started looking at the rules, and I went, no, this is too big of a hurdle for me. It was kind of like, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out something like school-wise or whatever, where I just was like, no, not gonna, I've got to back up here. This is too much. So but still wanted to scratch the monster itch. Nun's farts. Yes, but that's it. Thank you, Dan. Oh my God, I know that. I don't know about the ones you've had, but well, I've only had it once. But they made the most sugariest butter tart I've ever had. Not even near sugary. It was unbelievable, freaking awesome. But. So anyways, I wanted to scratch, like I said, still scratch that monster itch. So then I watched, I think, some Justegard videos again of his club doing the Eastern Front. Watched Jezza 1 doing the whole grand campaign his way, and my jaw dropped. I was like, are you flipping? Who the hell is this person? Thank you, whoever his mom and dad are, for having sex and making this person come alive, and whatever the hell you did to make this person do what he's doing, because it was like watching sunbeams coming from somebody. I was just like, you can do this? The guy had maps on his walls. His house was becoming, it's hello. And I went, oh my God, this. Oh, thanks so much, Dan, for seeing you. It's super nice to see you. Oh, he doesn't see it. What? He gets the idea. Yeah, when I saw that, that blew me away, and I went, okay, if he can do this, you can do it in a much smaller version. And I was like, well, what am I going to pick? That's how I ended up deciding to buy the Eastern Front. I got that from, well, probably Decision Games website straight up, I would say. And after that, I probably started getting them through BGG Marketplace. Through, I think Mike knows it. Mike knows the place. Somewhere in North Carolina. I can't remember the guy's name. Oh, so nice to see you, man. Thanks so much, Grog Shed. Have a great one. I hope you have an awesome Sunday. Yeah, Mike, you would know it. You would know it. I can't remember that guy, but he was expensive. Here I am answering Grog Shed's thing, and he's going, ha, ha. Anyways, and then it ended up happening that based on the amount of money I would have had to pay for customs and so on and so forth, I ended up getting practically almost the entire set. I was missing the Grand Campaign in the Western Front. Then, about 3 weeks after purchasing that and paying a ton of money, I don't want to say how much money I paid, and I didn't even have the complete set. I found out there was somebody in Ottawa. Oh my God. From the Ottawa Board Gamers Club. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Who had the complete set. So I ended up purchasing the complete set for off of him for a fraction of what I paid. Then I had to sell it off, some of it. Then I sold the Eastern Front to some guy in Chile, and it went all over the place. It went like to Florida, to somewhere else. He was super nice to talk to. Then I sold another copy of the Ottoman Front to someone in Toronto. And I don't know where the other ones went, but now I have the full on, and it's weird to think that now that later on I'm going to just screw around with all these counters, and I'm not even going to pop them out later. Speaking of which, I know the sale must be coming up, the Decision Game sale for the Sturvell Creek thing. You know, what's kind of neat too was it? Yeah, it was you, Mike, when you were talking about the playthrough. I think it was with the Quattro Draw. Game there, and you're talking about you're not a very big fan of the semi-glossy or any type of glossy counters, and I'm like, especially even with stacking of just even 2 counters, I'm like, yeah, I'm with you all the way. That's why upstairs with the D-Day quad game, it's like, for me, it's about 9 out of 10. It's just like, or 8 out of 10. It's just like, if you just upgrade the freaking counters and get rid of this freaking glossy bit and make them a little bit thicker, life would be wonderful, man. But you don't, you son of a bee. Yeah. Yeah, I took a quick look. Well, you guys saw it. I saw that you guys had watched it or commented. The 6-minute live stream thing there by Not Jay. They seem like they're having a blast. 3 games already he's played. Holy yeah. So what the hell am I doing now? I gotta move my mouse. So anyways, like I was saying, I don't want to I would like to make this attack. I don't know if I should. Like, what am I getting out of this? I think I'm getting something half decent. I will be able to move this guy here. This guy will be all by himself. And I know, look, I know he's not flush with supply. I know all these guys are thinned out. I've got a bunch of people showing up. It's just going to take me time. I've got 10 supply points here, 20 supply points here, a lot more troops showing up. Am I just being impatient? But look how close I am to Kielce. I just think this is being a bit too greedy to make the second attack, which would be on supply. Just wait. And I realize that this guy can't do everything. He can supply this. I do know they have supply, and I do know that he's well within 8 movement points. And there's no, it wouldn't even count. It doesn't even. I'm not have to worry about zones of control as long as it's not uncontested. Um, so he could reply with a vicious counterattack. There's doesn't really matter who the hell's here. Here's this other spot. I don't know if you guys can see this. Yeah, you can. So these are two spots that I think are opportunistic. What I've been told, based on the Katowice conference agreement. Oh, shit, I got to talk about this later on too. About here, I completely forgot. I was getting so into this whole with the like I said with the Charles Tortoise thing and getting all my garrison troops ready and let's go, and then I went, oops, don't you have to send 10 supply points over once this double rail line gets fixed? That's why I was trying to stall. And secondly, I also have to send them two, four, or one four, a little official document thing. Lord have mercy. But I just noticed there, I think I did make a slight mistake. It's too late now. It's been signed, sealed. There's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, I have to send 2 corps. Holy shit. It says, yeah, Article 4, German command to send 2 corps, the equivalent of 8 full-strength brigades. However, it didn't say the prima donna full-strength brigades. Your sound is breaking up. I wonder if it's, is that better? Wonder if it's my internet. Hold on, I'll turn this off for a second and see if that helps. Maybe it's, it could be, is that a bit better, Mike? I'm wondering if it's the computer is doing a bit too much. Okay. I'll put on the music again in a minute or two and see if that helps. Or if it, I mean, not helps, if it gets worse. Or if it's breaking up because I'm maybe too far away. Maybe that's what it is. I'm on the other side of the, like far away from the table. Here, I'll stay over here and see if it goes. Yes, Article 4 says German command to send 2 corps, the equivalent of 8 full-strength brigades, to the Austro-Hungarian sector and be assigned to Austro-Hungarian command. But it didn't. It doesn't say I had to send the best troops. So maybe I can send over some. Well, of course I'm going to send reserve troops for Christ's sakes. Yeah, it's what I mean. Like this game, when you saw all those freaking rules for the grand campaign. We'll go over them again. I wouldn't mind, obviously, going over them. That's one thing I was saying to Zoe as well, to kind of help my shoulder out. Don't spend hours like that was a lot of time I spent playing, which is wonderful. I got a ton of moves done, but I would like to go over the grand campaign stuff again and just look at how dense it is. It's nuts. Let's do that now, or kind of. I can pop up the PDF thing if you want. I think that's a good idea. We can both look at it. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that I didn't have it on. Doesn't seem like I had it on the bloody my file section. Mind you, it did seem to work out pretty darn good, didn't it? I'm gonna pop this off for a second. Stop the screen. So you're just going to see that. And I'm going to open up another window so that way I can go back to the PDF. And while I'm looking at the whatever, we can look at it together. I just wanted to see what you guys think about it too. If this is a bit too, or if you think like my strategy of how to try to slowly incorporate it makes sense. Hello. Yeah, my computer does seem a bit slow. I am doing a lot of stuff. So SPW. Rules. Oh, there we are again. Okay, cool. Went straight to it. It seems like it's the thing was already in there. Okay, so um, where are we here? Present. Okay, we got rid of that one. Alrighty. That's a bit smaller. There we go. There we go. So I don't need to. Obviously, I do need to see the color. Hold on. There we go. Mastering a large chunk of rules is a big challenge. Sometimes you have to be able to see the trees to find the forest, and sometimes you have to see the. Yeah, and man, sound is a bit choppy. Okay, hold on. I'm going to turn off my thingamajig. I think it's probably I'm doing too much. Go back to this. See if that helps. All right, and then I'm going to make sure that I. Is this the. No. Where's that thing where it said fit to the width? Maybe I'm already there. I just want to make sure that you can see. There we go. Does that look good? I hope. And hopefully you can. I'll take off my headphones then. Hold on. Ouch. The weird thing is, until I get my hair cut, it feels weird to have. I'm not used to having my hair flail around as much as I used to. So I'm like, oh my god. Wearing hat, of course, partially is also it's keeps my head warm. All right. So, yeah, like I said, it's weird how I'm finding, like, I want to get into that stuff with all the supply stuff, but I'm like, or start incorporating what the heck was going on historically, like with the naval blockade and whatnot. But then I'm like, okay, then maybe you have to start worrying about naval rules or whatever. Going backwards until lost or overloaded. I start from the beginning where it was last left off. Yeah, and it's the problem with the Grand Campaign, though, Mike. What the hell am I? Where do you start? I mean, look where it is. It starts here, and then the third one is supply, and it's a kind of like, why the hell is it there? Yeah. Oh, Mike, man, that's kind of pretty damn similar to what I think. The way I had to approach a lot of my when I was in university and or even actually a lot of hard concepts is I read a chapter and then I go right back again and read it again because I'm like, well, it's the only way I'm going to get it into my head, especially because I'll just wander away too much. Attention span, it's just brutal. Got it. Oh, I'm going to try that blueberry cheesecake soon. Hold on. So. God, I don't know about you guys, but oh my, come on. This is just an incredible amount of detail. Like, well done to you, man. I don't know what other game, I don't have enough, nowhere near as the experience you guys do, but holy smokes, this is a lot of detail, man. So all this stuff, obviously, I'm going to, some of it's not going to really matter because it's, remember, I'm going to try to start from December 1st. 1914 for all the other fronts and see what was going on historically and with their leaders and all that stuff. So some of this is not going to matter. But the conditional reinforcements, that could. What else? What are these things? Opolachini. A lot of detail, even for those with extensive monster game. Yeah. So I'm going to grab, like I said, I'm just going to try to insert it slow, whatever I can before it starts driving me nuts. And maybe, is there a possibility of, let's say that Ottoman Rail Network or whatever, where it says, that bit there. Is there something at a point where I can like, okay, now I'm starting to incorporate all the fronts, and I've taken a look at it historically, but something is coming up now. So now we can do like a little mini whatever. I don't know. That'll be interesting. Maybe that's where some of that that like little chess movie move type stuff may come up. Where it's like, okay, try to see if you're not going to do. Maybe I'm not going to do like a full on bit for a scenario or whatever, but it's like, okay, you can see if this can you link up a supply line by the end of a certain month, and if you can, then you can go from there and start using the supply from that front to transfer it to something else or something. I don't know, but holy, and yet again, well, you guys have clued in. I mean, this is just like, it's like, well, you better go and grab the history books and start reading more. And it's like this, so it's just this massive feedback loop. So as far as I know, the only ones that have entered the war by now historically that have that have jumped into my world would be the Ottoman Empire, correct? I think everybody else is still on the fence. As you can see there, it says Italy doesn't start until they just had in the week that was live streams, the normal Saturday live streams. What we were saying there, the Italian diplomat just came back, just left Vienna and not impressed with what he heard. So, and here you can see, like in our world, so it's nowhere near there. But I would love to see what the Italian diplomats, aka Charles Latore, is thinking about right now when he's looking, going, holy shit, it looks like Russia is not doing so good with Austria-Hungary and the Carpathians. What the hell does that mean for us? Is it a really good idea to declare war on Austria-Hungary? So, hold on, I'm going to grab a slice of my cheesecake. Oh my God, it still kind of feels frozen, man. What the hell? It was thick. Maybe not. No, it is. How are the rabbits coming along there, Charles? I don't know if you're still there, but you were saying that you can't prime, I guess, because it's raining and all that stuff. I'm so happy. Well, Mike knows. I'm so happy that I decided to get away from. Oh shit! My thing fell over. Well, both of them did. Get away from spray-on primer. What a pain in the ass, man. No, it's too windy. It's too cold. It's too this. I didn't shake the can enough. I don't know for that crap, man. I will admit one thing, Mike. There's no effing way I will ever be able to do the delusional. Well, I didn't know. I was naive. There's no way I could ever do the level of detail. Like, I could never do the Grand Campaign full on properly. There's just no way. Or just impossible. I just can't. I just couldn't. So, like I said, I got to figure out how can I kind of get my jollies of that bit and still, be manageable. God, I'd love to sit down with Jezza One and see how the hell you watch some of his videos and you're just like, I didn't realize even back then. I remember I was naive, so I was like, oh, I can do this too. And you're like, oh no, you can't. That is just he's whoa off the church. And this Do you know anything about this Europa Universalis stuff, by the way? It's a pretty old game. Was it originally a computer game and then a board game, or a board game then computer game back to a board game or something? Yeah, I should have waited. This is a problem with this cheesecake is, or maybe every cheesecake, if it's not properly thawed, it just doesn't. Oh darn it! I've been waiting months for this and I screwed it over. Oh well. Poor fun. Nope. What do I really want to look at first? Well, we'll look at all the fonts. The fronts, that type of stuff. Slowly but surely. That I'm not going to worry about right now. Number 22. Not going to worry about number 21. No, don't have to worry about 24, 23, 25. This air power thing, man. What the hell? Would like to know how would that work for us? Like, how would this happen? Like, what would it do? Yeah, but big deal. What does it do for you? The side with air superiority gets a single air superiority marker per month. Whoa, that would be nice. Oh, I thought it was for the whole map. Oh my god, I was getting all excited there. I was like, this marker adds +1 to the die roll for all friendly attacks and counterattacks. It's like, for the whole map? No. There are different games going by the name. Oh, I didn't know that. God, that must drive people nuts. I've never played it. I don't know about you guys, but I've only ever played one. No, two. I played Lego Battles. That's a real-time strategy game or whatever. Super duper fun game. Well, I mean, it's designed for children to be able to play as well. And Dune 2000, I think. Otherwise, I just find them too stressful. I did pick up Europa Universalis 4 or whatever on Steam ages ago. Never played it. It looked amazing, but I was like, okay, this is a bit too much for me. I can't, yet again, too much detail. I wouldn't mind trying the air thing. I don't see anything wrong with that. That'd be cool. But I certainly would like to get into, where's my little thing here? Found this little, I wrote this index card thing just to remind myself of when Ken and I were about to play. Ken did an amazing job. I feel like a bag of shit, man. But it was just too much for me. I was like, okay, look, we got to go this incrementally. It's just the way also my mind works. I can't play that complexity of a level and let things drop RPG wise or whatever. I can't do it, man. And so I just can't. So it'll take me 300 years to do anything. He did so good of a job with the Vassal module for Der Weltkrieg, specifically for the Gulitsa Tarnif breakthrough. Jaw-dropping. I was like, what the hell? I kept saying, please, Ken, show this to people, man. This is like, wow. And he's like, look, we can do this, that. And he incorporated things such as if you expended, I can't remember, X amount of supply points, you could learn how many strength points within a certain margin. Like you would know, okay, this guy's got more than 5 strength points that you're potentially trying to attack, but that's all you know. You want to spend a bit more supply, convert it into reconnaissance. In a sense, you can get more detail and become more precise about. And I was like, wow, this is exciting stuff. And so I was starting to think about trying to incorporate, from what I've been reading, anyways, of some of the accounts where they'd say, okay, this general clued in that they were very thin at a certain spot, so let's focus our attention on that. And I was like, okay, then obviously they knew this counter had 3 strength points. Didn't know everything about the bloody stuff, but they certainly knew, okay, whereas I went from 0, you can practically know everything. Mind you, I have to look it up. Sorry, I got to look at the counters. I'm not sorry, I got distracted. Hey, Charles, man, up and down and all around. Both of us are here, or all 3 of us. The less densely populated theaters might be give the better return for the time invested. Yep. Interesting, Mike. And it's kind of what I was trying to think about, how to maybe possibly incorporate getting into the grand campaign, is add one front or module at a time. So maybe, and since everybody here is in the Balkans, you guys, just continue abstracting the Western Front. Oh my God, guys, man. It got a lot better as it warmed up. Okay. Abstract the Western Front. Let's keep the rules here. But I also want to see you, kind of thing. Well, you guys can look at the nice picture. Charles, rabbits have their primer done. Good, you got the primer done. I wasn't sure. I was thinking, with all that rain, you probably went, no, ain't happening. And it's amazing, like humidity. It's amazing how, like, just the density in the air, how it will affect even the spray. The air. It just blows me away. I was actually talking to Rob a few weeks ago about just even storage of paper, where originally a long time ago they were storing the rolls of paper where I work upright, and just even the temperature gradient from the bottom of the roll to the top was causing stretching. So when they were putting them into the machines and then printing off the charts, they were noticing skewing. And so they weren't cluing into why it was happening. And Rob was like, "Whoa, what the hell? You guys are storing them wrong. You should be storing them all in the same environment," type of thing. Anyways, yeah, what the hell we were going on to? Yes. So what about it trying to incorporate, bring down the Serbia, go down south. We got the Serbia thing. There you guys are. Albania, Montenegro, and then we just shift on over towards the Italian front, and then we're into Romania. And just so, we're getting into a big chunk of World War I, but it would be slowly but surely. And I think the winter time is a great time. Look, guys, it's part of me is always going to have this in me, of this impatience of wanting, okay, God, you got to keep on with the game. I'm like, Chris, slow down. You are doing it, man. You are doing it. Hey, Issy Cat, man. Finally got you live. Cool. Well, the odds are you're going to eventually get me live if I stay on long enough. That's for flipping sure. Yeah, it's just because it's my first birthday thing, and I wouldn't be on normally at around, well, I certainly wouldn't be on at this time, especially wouldn't want to never be stepping on Not Jay's painting toes on Saturday nights or whatever, you guys, whatever. But it was like he mentioned on last Wednesday or whatever it was, he mentioned that you guys, he wasn't going to be able, he was only going to do like intermittent, maybe live streams or whatever from March to Victory. Hopefully, did I get that right, Mike? Hope to God I got that right. And you guys are hopefully, remember, if I'm a prick not reading your comments or replying to your comments, it's because I'm not seeing it right off the bat. So that's that. So you're right, Mike. Just try to bring it down into little whatever. And some people are not. Some of this stuff doesn't have to get right into it. But okay, this is. I really want to get into this bit. Okay, and you're right. Maybe don't have to worry about all the naval stuff and everything until later. It's yet again abstracted. Is this stuff? Hold on here. Of course, we want to get into the rail line construction. Good Lord. All this stuff here. This is no worries here. This is all good stuff. And the assault unit, don't have to worry about that till later. This is yeah, we keep that. Keep it. But I certainly want to incorporate what I see from the Ottoman fronts into the other stuff. If you don't think I don't want to use supply depots for the other stuff, you're not. Come on, man. I've also another thing I want to talk to you guys about it at some point later on is just to the point of like, okay, Chris, this is so far off of what military people, or this is nowhere near what World War I command and control situation mind you. That's why I wanted to freaking get the audio to work for that freaking Pershing lecture thing again. So please listen to or go watch the evolution of battlefield communications there with Dr. I can't remember Ridden whatever for the Americans in World War I. It is incredible. It was called handy talkies. That's what was so you guys had two different things. You had the walkie-talkie for a certain level of organization, and then you had your handy talkie for I guess just whatever, a very short distance. But it's just amazing. This that guy is just good. So please, just go. 333, quite the limit. Yeah, and you imagine that, Mike. This doesn't look like. I don't know about you, but boy, is this. And you can hear it in their voices. Pigeons. Yeah. I'd love to know how the hell that worked. But how do you get them from one end to the back? I know they said that they were born in their little whatever thing, but yeah, but how do you get them? And I also heard that supposedly you tried to keep them. They even had studies about how to keep like how hungry to keep a pigeon. So that way they would fly a little bit faster, but you can't keep them too hungry because that way they wouldn't have enough energy. I'm like, holy, this is crazy business, man. But I mean, it must be important when your life and death is. Yes, normal stacking is 6. That's correct. You got it. And there's the other amazing stuff. So you can hear it sometimes in Justagard's voice when he was doing one of the things there. I think it was one of the coup scenarios there. Trying to the rescue for the people, the British troops stuck in Kut, and also one of the Romanian things that he did. I'm not saying he didn't enjoy it; he loves the system, but you could hear it wasn't like, "Wow, this is an amazing, exciting time to be playing these games," because it's just a lot of little shuffle. It's that weird puzzly thing of whatever. Versus you can hear the excitement when he was playing Warsaw 1920. He was loving that game, that looks like a hell of a lot of fun. I've got it upstairs. And that was that other thing about that laser cut stuff. I can remember you were mentioning earlier on, Mike, in one of your videos there about make sure you don't have soot in your thing or whatever. Someone gave you like a little lint cloth in one of the boxes. I was thinking, the first time I got the Ziploc thing, holy crap! I'm not kidding you, man. It smelled. I actually sent a complaint to Revolution Games. I was like, sorry guys, I don't want to do this to you, but I think I got the wrong. Like whoever packed this freaking game up gave me the wrong Ziploc baggie. Because I swear to God, it smells like they had kept every freaking roach they've ever smoked, like joint they've ever smoked in their life. It just reeked of like old cigarettes and Lord knows what. So I was just like, oh man, like I had those rule books and counters hanging out on a freaking clothesline practically for days, just trying to get rid of the smell. It was disgusting. They sent me another batch of counters, but I think it was more for the there was a screw up with some of the counters. I think they had the front on the back or something, or you guys would know that about the way. Well, I can tell when I see the reverse side or whatever. So anyways, Victory Point Games would include a napkin to wipe up. There you go. That's the one there. Yeah. Was that the Victory Point Games? Was that the Supersonic line Siege one? What was that one you were looking at? I can't remember. Excuse me. There's the supply depots. That looks really exciting. I can't wait to try that. That just makes so much sense. But there's the other thing I wanted to go on about with the command and control. I want to start getting into, because I don't want to start getting into the willy-nilly stuff of, like I said, you can with his rules. And, I've been breaking them and making my own and doing a zillion other things. With the core HQs and the divisional breakdown and all that other stuff, I want to make it coherent for myself, but I want to make sure I've written it down. So I'm not like 1 week doing it this way and the next week, it's a slight variation or whatever, especially with the command and control. I want to make sure that I've got a theater commander who makes certain decisions, that he's getting it from maybe the politicians, like let's say, whoever. And then you've got your army, your army guys, then you've got your core guys, and so on and so forth. So I don't want, for example, and I want to have lines of communication somehow in between these things. Maybe people are going to think, oh, you're adding a complexity that you don't need to be doing. But yeah, I'm not doing the whole grand campaign. I'm only doing this little whatever. And if it adds to my narrative of people having an issue, like difficulties, you didn't do this, that, or the other thing, or like, for example, in my little world right now, Hindenburg in the 8th Army, he's the theater commander for the whole area here. But so is he also, but he's also doing like a lot of the normal army work, because, well, I have to, he's a freaking army HQ. He's like going to be able to, supply counterattacks and attacks like a core HQ could never dream of. So I got to use them that way. But what would I do if I was using that command and control structure, that type of thing? So I got to start thinking that type of stuff. Or do I say, okay, Hindenburg is no longer in control of 8th Army HQ. He's actually, I don't know, sitting in Allenstein or somewhere and directing traffic from there. But how do I, and that's more than fine. I've seen that in other games too, where the World Undone, East Prussia, I don't even think I think your headquarters actually gives you like a 1 strength point. It's pitiful, or whatever it is. And I remember talking to the game designer, Ray Weisser, the owner of the company, Conflict Simulations Limited. He was saying that, or in the rule books, he was even mentioning, it's kind of, or you don't really need to use them or whatever. It's just kind of whatever. And I was like, well, I'm using it for the narrative. I want my freaking army HQs in the freaking map so I can see where the hell Rennenkampf and so on and so forth are, and Samsonov and everybody else. But you don't need them. So I was like, well, I could do the same thing with that. It just means Hindenburg will be somewhere else right now. And I'm sure I'll be doing that come January. Why not? I'm already doing that in a weird way where I'm pretending to Borevich is, in Shemish, sitting there, not really doing anything, but he is directing traffic. So in my little world, I'm still trying to figure out, okay, where the hell is he? Like, line of communication wise and so on and so forth. So that being that, where are we now? States of Siege. So it was that. Some of the early games said, yeah, okay. Where is it? The one there, I'm hoping to God you guys are going to be able to help me out someday with. Yeah, Jesus Murphy, eh? Look at all this. Wouldn't that be funky weird though, guys? I'm sorry, this is the way it's going to be. Things like Gallipoli may not occur in my world, and that's perfectly fine. Isn't that the whole reason why we're playing these games, or partially one of the reasons? And if that wasn't the case, then why in the world do we have demoralization points for this game where all of a sudden France could capitulate in 1914 and so on and so forth? So that's why I'm going. And he's got the optional jumping in rules for all, a gazillion other things. So if it gets to the point where maybe I can swing a deal entente-wise, if it comes to that, with William Aarons representing Greece. By the way, Hissy Cat, I don't know if you're still around and you're interested. We're down to, you got your choice, Bulgaria or Romania, if you wanted to pick. And all you need to do is occasionally, it may not be occasionally, because you may make a final decision. After that, it's the last decision. But once in a while, I'll come to you as the Entente or the Central Powers or both, and bring you a deal. And you'll basically say yay, nay, or stay in neutral or whatever. And so far, Mandarin Mike's Albania, Charles is Italy, and William Aarons is Greece. So there you go. If you want to be grab Bulgaria or Romania, Hissy, that'd be fine by me, man. Because that way I can start see what the hell's going to happen. Maybe a postcard game. Sorry. Yeah, and oh my God, Hissy, thanks for mentioning the postcard games. So I'm sorry to say, but you did give me an out a few weeks ago when you mentioned, hey, I was thinking it was a game I wanted to do, and you were like, oh, I'm going to make a Christmas card game and allow you to do it on. And I was like, excellent. Not because I don't want to do a postcard game, and I'm happy with what I see. I was just like, look, if I need to do this properly and get a actual digital file sent off to you and so on and so forth, and everything else that I'm up to, I'm not going to be able to do a proper job. So I was like, well, why not you just postpone it and do a proper job for the Christmas card one? So that's what I'm doing. It's not because I'm trying to be a whatever. And also, that was the other second out with you for you, Hissy, was you were mentioning that you were overwhelmed by even the 23 submissions I think you had at that point. And I went, okay, fine. He's even mentioning that he's overwhelmed with trying to play all these games. I'm doing him a favor. Oh, man, I was trying to figure out every little goddamn rationalization I could. So there you go. Excellent. Cool. Done like dinner. So, yeah, and that's the other thing. I can't wait to look at that around, the Macedonian front and all that stuff. I just don't have a flipping clue about any of that stuff. But that blew me away. I don't know about you guys, but to find out that Italy was landing troops in Albania in autumn 1914, that basically it wasn't directly related to World War I. They were just being opportunistic in a sense, and so were the Greeks. And it's just like, holy shit. Like, part of me is like, I guess I get so focused, like maybe other people, of just assuming, okay, World War I starts, everybody is only thinking about World War I. And it's like, and I should have known that that's not the case, because I've heard about it, a few times in live stream. So I've been listening in on the Counter Clipping show or whatever. And some people will be saying, well, if you talk to some people, World War I didn't end in, at that point. Or if you talk to people like in Eastern Europe during the interwar period, do you think World War I ended for them on November 11th and so on and so forth? Or talk to the Chinese about, about World War II or whatever. I'm just like, holy shoot. So that was like, that's hammered that in again when I went, the hell, Italians are like in Albania, and like I was like, wait a minute, aren't they supposed to be a neutral country? What the hell are they doing in Albania? And then you've got the Greeks, like I said, when whatever government they were in Northern Epirus decided to revolt against King William there when World War I started off. And then the Greek troops popped in after I think the great powers kind of gave them the nod. You can kind of go in there and quiet everything. Like I said, this is all naive stuff. I just barely touching the whatevers. But all this stuff is like, holy shit. Like, yeah, And that's just that. So you can just imagine what the hell is else going on in Africa and everything else, man. Just nuts. Hey, John Longshore. Cool to see you. Yeah, you
Would love to play that game sometime. I'll actually read the rules, and I'd like to say I'd like to read the rules properly. Lord have mercy. Yeah, we're looking at the Grand Campaign, just talking about stuff right now, and it's just insane, man. There's so much stuff. So I'm just kind of looking at seeing how I can, which rules I can grab to slowly incorporate into what I'm playing, and if it kind of makes sense. Like, yeah, and I started, remember Mike there with and Charles, I started the very first live stream I was going to try with reading the Grand Campaign rules. I went to strategic movement based on the sequence of play. Never to be mentioned again. I shall do that then. It'll be like Haster. Oh my God. There we go. So what else? Yeah, see, now we're getting into this stuff. I'm like, okay, that we're not going into that world yet. Did I miss? No, we're okay. I thought I had missed the supply bit. And we don't have to worry about the commencement. I don't have to worry about, obviously going to use the timeline of rules. And then he gets into this massive amount of the whatevers. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, you know it, John. So what else? Where are you? Oh, yeah, I want to show you guys later the T-shirt I almost... So here we get that. This is what I want to really get my teeth into, guys. This is the bread and butter for me, man. So let's get into this. Like especially when I was looking. If I'm still there, no, I got the wrong. Hold on, I'll put on the right. No, we'll do that later. But yeah, I really want to get into this stuff. But that's going to take still a while to read and like get in, but I'll just start with this the Eastern Front. Like I said, just during the winter time when everybody's hunkered down and entrenching and all that stuff, and I'll look down. This is when I was looking at afterwards, and I went, "Oh shit! I'm sure the Russians are really pissed off now that." Because remember, a few months ago in my world, they had temporarily control of. Well, we'll look at it later. They had control of a lot of the towns in Silesia for a little while, for about a week, and that's a massive amount of coal producing area and so on and so forth. Like they had Katowice and the whole 9 yards. So I'd like to keep this and this war economy stuff. I got to figure this out. And like I'm saying, I'm really excited by this bit. Where is it? Where did it say that? And I went, okay, I like you. Because it's different than you have a supply. We expect you to use it, kind of crap. Where was it? Somewhere around here where it says you can stockpile. I was like, oh yes, please. So if you can see it, let me know. Source of manpower, nope. Thought it was on the right-hand side. I sworn visually, I think I remember seeing that on the right-hand side of the page. That's why I'm not even looking on the left. Oh my God. Where are you? But all this I want to keep. Ah, here we are. This is it. Okay, right there. Production process. Players determine the total production points or factories produced during the production phase. They do this for each of the... And they can save them till the next production phase or use some and save the rest. And I'm like, sweet. That sounds damn good to me, man. What is SPMTL? They're in the rules. What is SPMTL? I don't know. I think you're talking to, I'm assuming you're talking to Charles, Mike. Oh, yes, you're right. Special medals. You got it, Mike. Thank you. You're bang on. I just saw that today, so I'm glad you mentioned it. But it's a sandbox off the rails. You're right, John, and you can definitely tell, man, that look, I don't want to like okay, it's not perfect. I guess that's the way to say it. And do I personally, from my opinion, do I see how I think the evolution of the game happened? Yep. I think he had a far off vision concept of what he would like to do. Like he said, he always wanted to have Der Weltkrieg as a competitor for you. Is it Europa? Is that the big ass one, that the old big ass one? People say it's super hard to play or whatever. The Ardwolf bangs on about it all the time. That one, he said he wanted to make that a competitor. So many abbreviations makes rules harder. Yep. Mike, you're gonna just love Conflict Simulation Limited rules then. Oh my god. That's all I gotta say. Holy F. Anyways, I think so. When he started, he just did the Western Front or the Schlieffen Plan thing and just went there. And I think he was like, wow, this is really working. I've got something going, and went from there. And I think fixed things as they went, kind of thing. And I think by the time you get to the Grand Campaign, it's the rules from the get-go. You open the page from page 1. Like I said, you're lost. If I didn't have you guys around, I'd be screwed. Well, I still think I'm screwed trying to do the Grand Campaign rules properly. I can't see that happening. Europa that's it. Thanks, man. That's it, Mike. And remember, he said he wanted to also try to do to turn Der Weltkrieg into a World War II and Cold War. Holy moly! Talk about ambitious. But based on the amount of detail and stuff, I'm just jawed. I'm just amazed. But anyways, you look at the Grand Campaign rules and they're clunky beyond belief. They're all over the place. And we've already seen holes. I think we've talked about it before of, divisional breakdown. It doesn't seem to be meshing very well with this connection of being very focused on the 5th Infantry Unit, division is here and whatever. But then he'll say later on in the rules, well, don't worry about it. When he gets into the force markers or the core marker, there's 2 different types of core markers. There's the ones where it's like it's 2 divisions or whatever, and the other ones are just like a force marker, the way I'm using them. And he's like, oh, you don't really have to worry about it as long as it's the same amount of strength points and so on and so forth. And I'm like, well, seems like you're trying to have it a bit both ways kind of thing. It doesn't really, to me, kind of mesh. Like I said, a divisional breakdown, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, there's a lot of, So I'm yet again, why not just grab what makes the most sense for me and stick with it? And the other stuff I'll just throw away. I've done that with every other stuff, and I just, come on, look at this. I'm never going to get all this in. There's no way in hell. Are you telling me like it would be something like, and thank God I'm playing this solo, or it would be something like I said, it would be playing this at a retirement gaming home? Wouldn't that be fucking cool, man? I mean, think about that. Everything would be perfect. We would have Tai Chi or exercise related stuff for that. We would have magazine subscriptions beyond belief. You would have game players all the time. It would, like I said, it'd be a convention every flipping day. God almighty, that would be fun. Library, imagine our library. Jeepers jumping. I mean, everybody bringing in all their books together. Oh, sweet Jesus jumping. What did you say, John? I gotta look it up there. They're pre-selling their massive. What is TSWW? What is TSWW? Please, someone tell me. Hello, Hissy. What else? So, what else I want to look at? Yeah, and I'm sorry, there's no effing way I'm getting into the naval war, but I certainly want to do the food bit and all that stuff. But you know, all this is maybe maybe deal with this when the potential of United States coming in. That's not going to be for hopefully ages. Like, come on, man. Sustainment. I like that. I certainly do like that. Like you said, Mike, just take it a little bit at a time. Yeah, you're right, John. You're right. The knowledge company. I'd love to try this stuff out, but you know, not going to happen, man. Just not going to happen. All right, I'm going to pop you back to my little world here. Hold on, I'm going to get rid of this. I'll show you the maps again. And present. Oops. I'll make sure I'm not full on. Okay, I'm not. Good. So, I'm going to go to the other one first. It always seems to have a harder time going to my... Yeah, you did it. Thank you. I wasn't sure if it was going to do it. There. But I'll tell you guys, man, this has been... Yeah, look. Tell me if that's too big, small, whatever. I don't know how it's looking here. I'll put that off. There we go. And then, yeah, I can always flip back to the other bit. If you want to look, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it's not too bad. So I don't know what you guys know what it was looking like. Okay, let's pretend what it would be looking like February 1915. So in February 1915, historically, all the Russians are right up to here. They've got Przemyśl. Well, they just took Przemyśl just surrendered, as we know, on the 22nd, right over here. They've had Lemberg since freaking September, for Christ's sakes. So all this has been taken. This is all. I mean, all the Russians are basically. The Austrians are just basically poking their noses out here. And they're up to here. Yes, I think it. I'll have to check. This is a bit off here, but as far as I know, the Russians are all the way up to here. The Germans are pushed up to Warsaw here, and no Russians here. But I did find out this week that their Memel, way the hell up here, was they traded places. So it went Russian, then back to German, then back to Russian or German or something like that. Home by Christmas, 5,600 counters. Oh my F. I'd love to see that type of stuff. I don't know if you guys watched him. It's a YouTube channel called Monster in My Basement. He hasn't done a video in quite a long time. I've showed this to people. I'm like, this guy should be doing tutorials about anything. He's so professional, top notch. He's doing the Goss game Atlantic Wall. Is that it? I'm not sure, but it's incredible. He's so detailed. He'll spend like 4 minutes explaining to you how to practically move your mouse pointer to double click at the decision games to get the most updated rules. It's like, please, could you show me how to do anything? Incredible. I'm never going to play that flipping game. That's for sure. I'm not going to play. I mean, this is it. Basically, everything else is just going to be, like I said, playing conventions or an afternoon with a buddy type of stuff, or, occasional dip my toes into whatever. But this is it. I mean, why? What else do I want to do, man? This is giving me everything I want. I get to, like I said, I'm not even close to being able to fulfill what I want to do creatively. Oh yeah, the T-shirt I wanted to show you. This is the one I told you. I just got to do a better job of slow down, Chris, man, because this is an expensive way of figuring out how to do things properly. So I think I told you, yeah, I finally did I don't know if you can see that. There's the 97th. I wanted to do something that wasn't so in your face about remembering the 97th Landwehr Brigade. So I just did the shield and then just the 97. But I wanted to have it over my heart. And as you can see, it's unless I'm like some kind of crazy alien. But I should have had it over here. But oh well, you get the idea. I'll try again. But I'm very, very happy with this one. It's not going to be so over the top. Another thing I'm going to say about the t-shirts is I've sent one so far to Math Fun and Games. I'm going to have to mention to him, this is the better quality. I haven't used the better quality. I haven't sent any of the better quality t-shirts out yet, thankfully. Well, I mean, now I know. I've only sent out one poor one. They just don't last very long. But this one lasts. This one's awesome. What a difference. It's just so freaking durable. John Longshore, looks like Russians avoided a Tannenberg and rolled up. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you what happened in my what happened to me, and they're not leaving. I can tell you one thing, John. Barring something bizarre happening up there with the First Army, there's no flipping way. William Aaron's cool, man. Where if a game has rules, deficiencies, don't those have bought and playing the games from the building to work? If a game has rules deficiencies, don't those who have bought and are playing the game some ability to work with game designers and publishers to connect them? Yep. That's a beautiful thing about some people. I think Hollandspiele, when I see them, they're like this, replying on BGG. Amabel's like that. Like, it's almost like, holy cow, like you got like your red phone or whatever bleeping at someone. That I like. I just like, that's respectful to your customers. For goodness sakes. I mean, you don't think it's going to, like in the long run, want to buy one of your games, and versus giving me some curt little response or not even replying at all? Like, come on, man. Anyways, I was going to say, yeah. So what happened up in the First Army? I ain't going anywhere, man. I've been trenching like a maniac. I've got lots. I finally got some supply up there. It took forever. And we're hunkered down. I can't see. There's just too many strength points up there for the Germans to wedge them out. They're going to try. It's called, I'm calling it the November Massive Attack. We've just stripped every single freaking garrison. It's going to take a while to get all those troops up there. And they're dribbling in. They'll start in the third turn. It's only just approaching the end of 01 November. It's going to be bloody, though. What happened here with the Second Army, believe it or not, right at the very beginning of my game, the Russians were all here, right up at the border. We actually poked our heads out a little bit. But my very first silly attack was an unsupplied attack on well-defended, supplied German troops up here. And they just hammered me in the counterattack. After that, it was basically abort. What I originally wanted to do was have the First Army come, well, what they did, straight beeline, straight for Königsberg. We got effing close, 40 kilometers to Königsberg, and the First Army had to start entrenching like a maniac. Got this trench sitting here, which is driving me up the flipping tree. Now it sucks a hind tit, but there's not much I can do. If I get rid of it, it just becomes a devastation marker. And it's basically, I think I still have a movement deficiency, and it doesn't give me any freaking defensive bonus. So what's the point? It was just at the time I was scared to death that the Russians are coming. And then I wanted to have the Second Army go over here to Allen. We were going to try to take Allenstein, and I was actually going to try to, once we got close to Königsberg, but I just kept going once this got aborted. We actually wanted to try to bypass Königsberg entirely and meet up in Elbing over here and cut off Königsberg. That's what I wanted to do. But then when everything went pear-shaped with the Second Army right off the bat, I was like, well, that's the end of that. And we just basically turtled. And if you wanted to be, your best chance of not being killed in my game would be here. Stay in the Warsaw front, either side. Your best chance. What did Meandering Mike say? Some publishers and or designers are very responsive, and some don't even care since they already took your money. Yep, I know, man. What a bummer. Oh, Mike, on a side note, I don't know if you got it, but I got an email notification yesterday that from USPS or whatever the hell, that my shipment for Serbia and Konograts from CSL is on its way. Like I got a tracking number. So yeah, yesterday was weird. I was like, oh my God, maybe getting all these weird happy birthday signs in a sense of like my blueberry cheesecake after months not being at that store is there. And the lady that I keep, like, I'll walk by and she knows me. Yeah, she spotted me right off the bat and was like, okay, I'll go get you your frozen cheesecake. Because I said, is that blueberry? Blueberry? You sure that, because I was like, it's not chocolate, right? That kind of looks like blueberry. She's like, no, it's blueberry. Then I get the shipping notification. It's like, things are looking good, that type of thing. Any hoots. What else can I say? So yeah, they turtled, stayed here. That's where I'd want to be. God, it's so bizarre, man. I don't know how the hell it happened. Charles says, gonna glue up tonight some trash train and spray them up tomorrow. Cool. Good. I'm so glad you're getting it as well there. Oh, assuming you're meaning me, Hissy, or someone else. I don't know if you are, but thanks if you're saying happy birthday to me. I don't know. I don't know how the hell this happened, guys. Remember, some of you guys may not know, but way back when here, it was like, well, like they say, the Russian steamroller, the 8th Army just came in here like a maniac with the 3rd Army, no problem. But the Brusilov and the 8th Army just took over Cernowitz, grabs Stanislav. Everything was wonderful, going great. I don't know if it was I got a little bit sneaky trying to bring Brusilov and some of his troops south of the Dniester here because it's a major river across here. So I was basically just trying to keep my headquarters here to maybe do any supply bits here, but I really wanted to try to. It worked at the beginning, and then I screwed myself where I jumped over here. Remember, I took this spot, hopped across the river, got across the major river. So it was like I destroyed their entire thing. Look how close to that. I'm 1 hex away from Lemberg, man. I can't get it. Now these guys are isolated. When was it 2 turns ago when the Austrians went? Remember, it was like, I don't know. Well, some of you guys won't remember, but spent like nearly a month hammering away at these mothers, and it was like you're just putting your forehead against a brick wall because all that was happening was the Russians kept just bringing more troops in, this way. And then I was like, wait a minute, hold on here. And we nailed, I can't remember what happened, but we nailed one spot over here, forced a retreat, and now they're isolated. And they've tried already one breakout, I think, or something. Anyways, they're in deep shit. Well, obviously, they're going to go, which is, I'm just shocked because I thought this was going to fall apart, especially when, what's his name? Look at Von Barmoli, I think. Hold on. The 2nd Army guy, 3rd Army guy. He's been really doing pretty darn good, man. There's my journal, my very first journal. I got it written in there for the Hungarians. 3rd Army, no, it's von Bruderman. Oh, that's right. The 2nd Army dude is in Shemish, the von Barmoli. And it's not his fault, too. I mean, some of his troops got, he got hammered bad by Brusilov. And then I was like, okay, you've been relieved of command, and now you're just basically a recombination center sitting over there helping me out. But, it's the way it goes. Then everybody started to adopt the Borevich dictum, which is I should know it because it's on my flipping bookmark, and the flip side of Borevich is staring at me, glaring at me, going, "So what's my dictum, you prick?" And let's see if I can get it right because I don't have the bookmark here. It's hold the ground you have, hold the territory you have at whatever cost. Never attack unless it is to regain a lost position, and 3rd is attack immediately before the enemy can secure that position. As far as I know, let's go grab my bookmark, which I got in the Caporetto thing,
which makes sense because he was involved in so many battles of the Isonzo, man, which is wonderful. Because I really want to do. Thanks, Hissy, man. Trust me, I've been getting all the gifts you can imagine, times a bazillion. Oh, by the way, Hissy, see that painting? I didn't do it. That was being thrown out. I was on my way to the dollar store to pick up some journals for my my gameplay, and it was snow was falling on it, and I was like, oh shit, I don't have enough time to go do both. And I was on the way back home. The garbage truck was just about to pick it up, and ran as fast as I could. And I said, "Oh, can I take it home?" And he said, "Yeah, knock your socks off." And the only sad thing is the person didn't sign it. I don't know what the hell. To me, it's just some kind of weird, like post-apocalyptic, like a John Wyndham cover or something. You know what I mean? Like something from like the 22nd century of like, I don't know, some civilization that doesn't even know we existed anymore or barely existed, or I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I love it. Anyways, here's the bookmark. Yeah. That guy, I can make the bookmark, and now I know how to do emboss and do all kinds of crazy ass shit. That's gonna be great. I know, Hissy man. I think it's great. Yeah, okay, there it is. Hold the territory you have at whatever cost. Never attack unless it is to recapture a lost position, and attack immediately before the enemy can secure the position. Thank you. Man, I so want to do a good long little write-up or a little segment on Borevich. And I now found out for a long time, I thought, because I knew his name was Svatozar Borevich, but then lots of times I also see Von Bonya, and I was thinking, where's this Von Bonya coming from? And originally I thought I read Von Bonya was his way of adding to less Serbianized and more Croatianized his name? Because there was always this discrepancy of who he actually was. He always says, I was a Croat kind of thing. But I think Von Bonya is a title given by the emperor or someone anyways. Anyways, he was called the Lion of the Isonzo. I guess it seems like a lot of people are called the Lion of the whatevers. Now here's look, Mike knows this as well, and Charles probably knows this as well. I adore Borevich, man. I think the guy's awesome. He's transformed my entire look. I adopted his policy for the Austrians in my flipping war here, and look what the hell has happened. There's very little chance now that I can see the Russians taking Lemberg by the end of the year. So come January 1915, that ain't gonna happen. Maybe I'm wrong. Especially now because I just moved more of my troops over here to seal up this little spot. Remember I was telling you about this double rail line. This is the only thing. I've got a couple of single tracks, but big effing deal. Unless something magically happens, I have to take a look at the Russians later to see what kind of reinforcements are coming in. But I can't possibly see how in the world they're going to be able to take Lemberg. There's just more and more stuff coming towards them now, the Austrians. So everything looks wonderful that way. What was I going to say? Getting sidetracked again. As per flipping usual. What was it? Was it about? I just don't know. But here's that. Like I said, I don't know if you can see this. Here, I'll put it on. I'll switch the cameras. I think you can get a closer view. If you guys notice I'm getting sidetracked or whatever, just let me know where I was because I can't go backwards. There you go. So I wonder why it does that weird lighting thing. Like I said, see, I get the light back and then it does that funky thing. Anyways, at least you can see. So these are the two spots I would like to, I'm not going to do anything now about them. But I would love to, and remember, I have to stick with Borevich here in the sense of I'm not supposed to do any offensive maneuvers. Everything east of the Wisloka here, which is this river here, part of the Katowice Conference Agreement, that's all Austrian control, and all they're supposed to do is stick to the game plan, which is very defensive. And here's the other on the side thing. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but how close the Austrians came to Lublin, which is over here.
I think they were also about 20 or 4. Well, 20 or well, they were certainly within 2 hexes of Lublin. John Luxor only want to deal with publishers who have decent customer services, such as GMT, Compass, and most recently, I have to look those guys up, AT or LTS. Where the hell are we? So Lublin here, the Austrians did that September offensive with the double link up with the 1st and 4th armies. That came bloody close. But yet again, I'm starting to clue in, with the World War I games and whatnot. If you don't have enough supply and enough whatevers, man, you sputter and it just stops. I mean, you read about just, watching the Great War Channel and week to week, and you hear about, they started this offensive, but then it stopped because they ran out of whatevers. Or I read, I'm like, holy cow, it's the exact same thing that's happening over here. But I don't know if you guys can notice. I'm going to pop that back onto the massive screen. It's happening. All the fronts are linking up. Hold on. It is really happening, just like in real life. Just not the exact same one. But, hold on, I got to get back to the... Oh, I am there. Okay, there we go. But it is happening. It is linking. They are linking up, because I don't know if you look at a lot of the previous videos, especially when the game starts off with the Eastern Front, like Mike was mentioning about the very open area. I mean, that's why I started using the blocks. These armies were all like so far apart. I was like, I don't know who the hell is connected to what army, and it was extremely important at the beginning when the guy was saying for mobilization, you can't move these guys until this guy, or these guys can't move out to this hex, and so on and so forth. I was like, it's going to take me 300 years. I was like, okay, grab those blocks that you saw Dad versus Son use. And anyways, you can see it's starting to happen. It is starting to look just like in real life. I mean, look, you got this long continuous, and that just organically happened just from playing this game the way it's structured and so on and so forth. And it just also makes sense. So I'm thinking, okay, you designed that game right. And I'm even for somebody who likes to F with it so much that it's still able to start forming into the way it's supposed to. It's not like I have, a little pocket here. And I do, but you can see it is starting to. It almost has no choice in a way, even with this crazy ass open concept stuff. It just just freaking awesome, man. But yet again, like I'm saying, we're going to trying to go to Mount Doom. I'm going to say this. It does seem like I had a lot of grandiose bluster and Lord knows what. I think at that time I probably could have sold anything to anyone when I was going into the Operation Luther and presenting that. And so this is going to happen. And don't worry, we're going to, they're going to be suing for peace in 1915 once we, topple the Russians by nailing the Stavka here and not having to worry about, this. This is just a diversionary front. I just want the Russians to focus on this area, the Tritan area, and I don't want them to be thinking at all about what we really want to do, and that's to send the Kriegfrosch up here through this little corridor. It seems like nobody is even noticing that there's like absolutely nobody here. And of course, everybody's not going there. Well, who the hell would want to go through all that crap? You've got the fortresses. Well, you used to have tons of fortresses there that had actually troops. But I mean, you got swamps and lakes and Lord knows what's. Like, why the hell would you want to go through there? It's why they did it historically. They avoided that stuff. Mind you, there are some people that have played through recently. If you guys go and I'm going to have to show you the links later on. But there are some people that have done this very recently too, the Tannenberg game. And I think he sent some troops through here. So there you go. And if you look at my Spence and Gable game, I'm already trying to do that as well. But that's whatever. God, I haven't played that game in a while, but I'm going to have to do that. Well, I have to, because like I was mentioning to you guys, I'm running out of can games, for Christ's sakes. I got to make some counters for them and so on and so forth. But so this is going to be, like I said, my main theater, and let's see if we can start weaving in the other things. So I think maybe the next one, you're right, Mike, I should take a look at Serbia and see how to link up Serbia, which makes a hell of a lot of sense because it links up with the Italian front, and it links up with William Aarons being Greece. and it links up with Charles being Italy and you being Albania, and also with this shift of focus of if we don't know what's going to happen, because I'm not stopping the game at the end of November. Because if I am stopping the game at the end of November, even if this was a massive collapse, I think based on the fact that the Russians were able to take this area and remained in East Prussia for so flipping long, the amount of demoralization that has occurred by the Germans in my game, there's no turning back. If we were playing this game, you and I or whatever, any of you guys, and you guys were the Entente, you'd win. And I think it would be a major victory. I have to take a look, but I still don't think, what are the points? I haven't calculated them recently. But right now for the Central Powers, it's 418 points. And remember, the higher you got, the worse you are. And Russia's only at 271. So forget it. It ain't going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. So yeah, so you look at that and let's say, like I was saying, we've got in the real world, Conrad trying to, 3 failed attempts through the Carpathians in the winter to relieve the people surrounded in Przemyśl. He doesn't have to worry about that. So all those troops that would have been sent towards the Carpathians don't have to be sent towards there. They're having a hell of a time right now, historically, against Serbia. Serbia's pounding the shit out of them, from what I know. So now those troops can be sent towards Serbia. How is that going to affect things? That's good. You know what I mean? That's where I'm starting to go, okay, now we're really starting to link up. Oh my gosh, cool, man. Wardrobe plays World War II's here. Pre-Dreadnought game is now complete at the Constant. War, what if? Good to see the usual suspects here. Yeah, well, folks need to. Mike, man, yeah, your homework. It's so cool to hear that. See you later, man. Thanks again so much, man. You are you guys are all just unbelievable. But like you were saying about you, Hissy, there about the gifts and all that stuff, I'm getting them back. This has been, there's no effing way I've ever in a million trillion years expected to get this amount of enjoyment and gameplay or whatever. And just being able to fill my boots creatively and still nowhere near the amount of stuff I want to do creatively or whatever. It's just overflowing. It's just waiting there. And I just, like I've said before as well with the rules or whatever, just try to keep my head down every once in a while, because if I look it up, it's just becomes overwhelming. It's almost like I'm just going to get hit by a tidal wave of knowledge from all the books I want to read and all the stuff I want to find out. Or, oh my God, I want to do this, persona about Zoya Popova, the Russian nurse working near the Bug River Bridge, which is probably one of the best narratives for me you can imagine in a bazillion years, is that one over there. I think you guys can see it. There's that big red spot over here. I'll try to actually move the, hold on. Just move this guy here, the Bug River Bridge. That has been just spectacular for me. That, there's been a gazillion narratives, but that one for me has just knocked my socks off. There we go. And let's see, I think I found it recently. I was looking at the casualty rates. Remember, since I'm Mr. Record Keeper from freaking hell here. So that Bug River Bridge, it's been relatively quiet here. This guy's entrenched right over here. So it's actually right over here, this spot. But this has been contested for such a long time. The Austrians for a while had wrapped themselves around the Bug River over here. And then the Russians pushed them back. Oh my God. I felt so, well, you're going to find out in a minute here. Actually, the Austrians were over here, and the very next turn, I moved them back here because it was kind of like in an odd way with Mike talking about his game Quatre Bras there. Sometimes it's like, it's good sometimes to win in advance, after combat. But if your other guys beside you don't also advance after combat, you may have stuck your nose out. And that's exactly what happened. The other guys didn't, no combats were won here. And so I had the Russian troops over here and this Austrian guy over here with not a hell of a lot of troops. And I went, you know what? Let's get the hell back.
which exactly what happened. So I'm going to give you the amount. So this is what I'm not, like I said, these aren't perfect numbers. So remember I was looking at the average strength points for the counters for the Russians and the Austrians in this area. And on average, they're 4. And when I was looking in some of the books, they said the average British division, or the average division at that time, infantry division at the beginning of 1914, was around 18,500, no, around 18,000 people. So if that's the case, that means one strength point should be about 4,500 people. That's the way I was looking at it, kind of thing. So I went and through all my records and looked at all the battles that occurred for the Bug River Bridge. And on the first, on 01 September turn, for example, Russia suffered, if you want to look at it, if I convert, see you later, Mike. Good luck with your homework. So anyways, so like I said, if you're going to convert strength points into troops or casualties, Russia suffered 9,000 and Austria suffered 27,000, but they did take the bridge and cross the Bug River. But then, like I said, the very next turn they retreated back across. Holy F. And Russia on the 03 September turn suffered 13,500. And Austria suffered 9,000. And then 04 September, it just kept cranking out, man. They just kept pounding away at this freaking bridge. And that's why I painted it red, the little 3D printed bridge there. I think that bridge is from Chutes and Ladders. I think that's from the game Castle or something, a Milton Bradley thing or something, or Citadel or something like that. It's got some amazing pieces. If you can find the 3D, the STL files for that, holy crap, I've been using them like there's no tomorrow. Well, as you can see here, like been using that for Kielce. You can see that. I just got scaled down to that, where it did pretty darn good for my little filament printer. And then, so 05 September, like I said, just keeps going away. Another 13,500 for Russia, 9,000 for Austria. 06 September, it changes finally, in the sense it was the first time I remembered that. I even saw in the video earlier in the day. It's the very first time ever playing this game where the attackers inflicted more casualties than the defender, because in this game the counterattack is tripled if they're fully supplied and don't have to retreat. And that time the Austria suffered 13,500 and Russia suffered 9,000. But in the end, after now looking at it, and no one still has gained territory, they're still stuck there. Russia has suffered 90,000 losses, and Austria has suffered 76,500, and that's for one hex in a 20-kilometer hex. I'm thinking, holy crap, you extrapolate that for this entire little game and extrapolate that for, and this is small potatoes compared to what's going on in the Western Front. When I took a look at watching Callendale's game and stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't understand. Like, he's talking supply points and strength points that are off the scale for me. So you can just imagine the amount of casualties that were occurring on there. And we haven't even ramped it up yet, where, we're getting into, the British forces haven't even, they're still doing volunteer stuff and whatnot. And it's not even, not even the really cranking out all the troops. Jesus, Murphy, man. So, yeah, and I think I was also mentioning on a side note that book there, I was saying it's not I was thinking, it's a children's book. It really isn't. I'm just being a whatever. I think at first I was hoping it was a bit more detail, but I think it's also going to help me. There was that, maybe you guys would probably, or some of you guys would know. This is something I would really like to find out about later, is but it's later on in the war, so right now I don't really have to worry about it. I guess, like I said, I'm trying to follow along week to week. So in my world, I'm in 1915 March. You know what I mean? Like March 25th, 1915. That's where my mind is trying to go. And it says here, I want to find out, but it's not. So it just reminded me of Hindenburg and Ludendorff, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is the relationship between Ferdinand Foch and Prime Minister Georges Clemenceau. And this is the quote from the book here. It says, "Still, the two men continued to argue, but the old tiger," and that was Clemenceau, knew that no. Oh, now I know what I wanted to talk about. Breivich, because of the tiger, the lion, the Asanza. We'll talk about that in a minute here. Knew that no other man could do more to hasten the victory than Foch. He also knew that Foch was honor bound to represent the Allied war effort, in which France was only one of three major partners. At the same time, Clemenceau did everything in his own power to represent French interests. This attitude was understood by the Marshal. So with great mutual respect, they continued to debate every issue in which Clemenceau saw any danger of loss of French influence, or in which Foch saw any danger of improper French advantage of her allies. The result was one of the great political military partnerships of history. I'm thinking, ooh, this sounds interesting. But like I said, I don't have to worry about it for a while. I don't think that like any of that stuff's going to be until what, 1917 or something like that. I may be wrong. I don't know. But this book's going to be, I think it's going to help me out. Like I said, when I'm thinking about over December, integrating what's been going on with my game with historically that stuff, I can now look at what the politicians were trying to think of. Like I said, I had heard a little bit about these Easterners. Like Churchill was one of the Easterners. I didn't really know a little. And this book started talking a bit more about other people that were in the Easterners that were like very pro, looking for a bit more of a British footprint or whatever, and trying to get away from the Western Front, where France were like, man, no, focus on the flipping Western Front, man. This is where the war is going to be won. But then you had the other people say, oh, we can knock them out, other people out relatively quickly. And that's why, as we know, we got into Gallipoli and the whole 9 years. So this will be helpful. What else? Like I said, I would like to try to make that attack over here. So that's 8 strength points. Maybe I should try. Maybe I'll give it a shot. Time are we looking at here? 9:37. That's not too bad. I will probably shut down relatively quickly. What is it? Thanks arrived today, Chris. What is that? Eric's loved it. What is that? What did you get? Oh! You got my birthday card, Charles. Holy shoot, I'm so glad it showed up. I sent that off last Friday. And when I saw, God, man, my the post office thing that I have around, I'm so glad you like it, Charles. And you know what's kind of cool? It just dawned on me. Because every year when I go to Can Games, hopefully they do, they continue doing it, they would give us a Can Games die, a D6. And I've got a bazillion of them upstairs. And, I was thinking, and then it dawned on me, I slid one in for Math, Fun, and Games. And why I gave him one, because he wanted a blue T-shirt for Trust in the Trench T-shirt. And unfortunately, now I can tell you why the dollar store T-shirts are so freaking cheap. It's because, like I said, they come from like the land of the screwed up toys from that Rudolph game show. There's anyways, both blue ones that I had that I was going to give them have holes in them. I'm not going to do that. Like little holes. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like almost like roach burns, for Christ's sake. So I was like, no, not going to happen. So I gave him a blue D6 of Can Games to compensate. And then after that, I went, you know what? Maybe I should give everybody a D6. And then when the person was like, oh, I was like, can I have get it by Friday, like the day before my birthday or whatever, or at least the day of, because I don't know if you guys get mail on your Saturday. We don't. In Canada, you only get mail on Saturdays if it's like I can't remember the certain time before Christmas or whatever. That's one thing that freaked me out, man, when I was in England. living there in London, I was just like, you'd see the freaking mail show up. I'm like, wow. And so I'm like, oh, this is nice, but just not used to it. But so I don't know if you, anyways, I'm super glad you got it. And you like the green dye. Yeah, I was thinking about your works there, man. Yeah, I think it's kind of also part of me is like, I just think it's kind of cool that there's like a Can Games dye, a D6 somewhere where potentially it's not, it's a dinky, well, you're going to see, I'll bring my video camera on May there. And you can also you've watched, what's his name? Gibson there. Darn it. He's part of the Ottawa miniature board gamer things or War Gamers Club. And I can't even remember his name. The Civil War maniac, the guy that did War for America. I've got his game upstairs there. You guys know him. Martin. Anyways, you know his name. Martin Gilbert. He did some videos on Can Games. It's a rinky-dink, tiny little thing. You should have saw the size of it when I was a kid. It was huge. They used to rent out the campus at Carleton University. Well, it was after everybody was gone, so it was just in between the summer students, I think, and whatnot. So you could even rent out the dorm rooms, which we did one year. Freaking amazing, man! It was, and so even at sometimes, and it was like all day long, right? I mean, 3 a.m, you could go into a classroom, a big auditorium classroom. Gilbert Collins, thank you, William Aarons. And we could use this giant chalkboard to draw our RPG maps or whatever the hell we wanted. It was freaking amazing. You should have saw the size of the marketplace. It was huge. I just remember as a kid, I was so socially whatever. And just I remember creeping through the tables, with all the people playing their Napoleonic miniatures and whatnot, or the tank stuff and all the little cotton balls and super duper detailed and quiet, and I would want to look, or hang around, but it's intimidating. I don't want to bother them, but it's and now it's oh my god, you're one of those people in a weird way. It was oh my god, what the hell happened? So, but yeah, the Can Games was great back then there, and then I don't know what happened. Maybe it's too expensive or whatever, but now it's really, really tiny. It's just a little curling club. I'm not a big fan of where they keep the miniatures, where we play. I understand why we're there. I shouldn't say we. Remember, it's just I'm primarily a miniatures player, not anymore. But so they would put us in with where the marketplace, not very big as well, and but it was where the curling rinks were, which means it's basically just in a giant concrete thing with this big roof and tons of echo, really, really loud. And so when you're playing with miniatures and you got a zillion other people doing miniatures at the tables, there's nothing to block the sound. And you're like, what? Pardon? Huh? And that drives me up the tree. That's the only thing that kind of bothers me. So it's kind of nice to maybe pick. For me, sometimes I prefer it when the game, sometimes, which I'm not playing this year because it doesn't look it's being run by the guy that I like, Nick Swales, who's from the Ottawa Miniatures Group. He'll be doing the DBA 3.0 tournament on Saturday night at 7, which is a good time to be. It's a little less, whatever, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. That's the worst time to be at Can Games. If you can imagine, if you're into social anxiety, don't show up there. If you're into that, show up on a Sunday morning. Crickets. There's no one there. That's awesome. Actually, that's a lot of times where you'll see Gilbert Collins run a naval game is on Sunday morning at around 9ish or 10ish or so. And he'll also do his spaghetti western usually on a Saturday morning as well. That's popular. He's been running that for years and years and years and years and years. But it's a tiny little, cool little convention. And yeah, so I'm so glad, Charles, you got the D6, man. And I guess Mike's is on the way. I don't think he knows he's got it yet, or maybe he has. I didn't read the comments yet. So you know what? Maybe before I take off and do Lord knows what's, I want to see how bad it is out there. It's not too bad. Oh yeah, Charles. I did a tiny little video. My rabbit's been that wild rabbit's been hopping around like a maniac in my backyard. And it's been actually stretching and eating the lower branches off one of my sumac trees. And so that was neat to see. But I was like, oh, man, maybe
I'll give you some painting ideas, or the rabbit will give you some painting ideas, because I had like actually a lot of red right behind its right here. Like it was a nice, just lovely stuff. And like I said, a nice little white little bit of a belly I would like to have for my rabbit. That would be wonderful. So how about, you know what, we'll try we'll do a combat, since a lot of you guys maybe have not seen a Dervelt Creek combat. We're going to do it maybe I'll see if I'll do it no, we're not do it my way. We'll do it the proper way, I think. I won't get into the weird dice doublers. So, I wanted to show you this side die. This is one of these. Zoe got a bunch of these when she played a game that was for children. So it's got two sides are a plus, two sides are a minus, and two sides are blanks. And I was thinking, boy, this would be an interesting thing to potentially use. I don't think, well, some of you guys will remember, I was mentioning that I'm trying to figure out an efficient way, because this game system is not designed for low strength point attacks. You can't do anything. It's impossible. It really is. Like you can sit here and I could be here for literally the next 200 years and no one would ever lose a strength point. So, and like I was saying, I want to do for low strength point unsupplied attacks, make it, within reason. I'm not going to like, there's like a, one strength point guy going up against 5 strength points. I'm not going to say, well, you got equal chance of, pushing him back versus 5 to 5. That's not what I'm saying. There'll still be those differences, as well as terrain modifiers. But I'd like to get down to something like that, where it's the only effect is no effect. You force a retreat, or you take a strength point reduction, which is very, as far as I'm concerned, very in keeping with his game mechanic, which is the defender is always going to be in the advantage. He's always got a better chance of inflicting more damage, with the tripling for the counterattack for a fully supplied non-retreating unit. That's pretty, holy moly. I mean, come on. Versus you, to get that effective amount, you have to supply a heck of a lot of strength points up front and be able to supply them. Okay, your supply is, which is weird. I don't know, but you guys, I'll read the rule again. It seems kind of like John was saying, like maybe John Longshore is mentioning, maybe doesn't make kind of sense. It almost seems opposite. I think even Mike was mentioning that. Meandering Mike was mentioning once. He's like, it kind of doesn't really make sense. Is it the supply bit? Like it seems opposite of what he's trying to say. Supply. If I can find it. It's about why you mentioned, I don't think I'll be able to find it, but it's essentially why it costs 4, you can get 4 strength points supplied with 1 supply point, but only 2 for a counterattack. Can I find it? Maybe it's in combat. Must expend supply points in accordance with the supply rules. Where are you? Oh, maybe I won't be able to find it. Darn it. But anyways, it just seemed opposite of what the way he was saying. It was something about, the reason why it costs more. And it was kind of like, well, actually, that kind of sounds like the defender should be spending more points for the counterattack than the attack. To me, anyways, I was like, okay, but
We won't go down that road. Okay, let's give this a shot. Let's see if I can, just for the hell of it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So you guys can see that close up. Yep. So I'll bring the thing back, actually, the camera back to the proper spot. And then I'm going to shut down and start thinking about whatever's. Hold on. There. What's that? So, I'll give you a bit of context. I tell you, man, I missed the. I'm not going to bring the webcam up out, but man, that thing is just a sweetheart and a half. So I'm going to give this a shot here. Probably not the best. Yeah, let's just try. So this is going to be. He's entrenching, but I'm trying to. That's why I want to get rid of everyone. So, and yeah, I guess for some of you guys that don't get to normally see any of my stuff, you'll be kind of like finally be able to, I guess, go, okay, this is what he actually does. Oh yeah, I'll put a little arrow back so I'll know where the hell we're. And me too. So I'll be able to supply that because that core HQ is under command. Remember, I'm not doing it the way Dave Schroeder has. He has it that any of your friendly headquarters that are within command or within supply range or whatever can supply an attack for a friendly unit. I don't do it that way. I do it that so for example, Hindenburg, if he was within range, let's say, could not supply this attack because I don't know if you guys know about these Alberto markers. So the markers on the bottom, usually I can move all the markers around. That's the whole bloody point of having these markers is so that usually on the top right would be the army designation. So that's the Warsh army. He's just just showed up on 01 November. So that's 8th Army. And the 8th Army right now is under the command of Hindenburg. And it wouldn't matter anyway. So he can't supply any of these guys. That little C there is for just telling me that it's a core HQ, a very, very limited capability headquarters. Can do hardly anything, can only supply 2 supply points worth for any attacks. So I can't go, oh, I can supply 2 for that attack. 2. No, you can only just do 2 supply points total. And I can only supply 2 supply points total from a core HQ for one attack. So I couldn't have 5 core HQ sitting here supplying a massive attack for one hex. Trust me, man, I've tried to figure out every freaking little wrinkle of trying to get a way around for core HQs to become ultra things. They're pretty damn good. They're amazing because they, in his real world, they cost nothing to be created. I can create as many as I want per turn, and they do not accumulate demoralization points if they're lost. Okay, they have no combat ability, but guess what? And no zone of control. But guess what? They still cause you to slow down. So technically, I could say in turn 1, technically, I'm not saying you'd ever do that. I'd kill me if I was the other player. I could say, oh, see that army HQ? I'm going to make 20 core HQs. You could. And by the way, I'm going to make this paper tissue wall or whatever, but I can slow you down and be a real dick. I mean, that, I wouldn't never do that, but you could technically do that. So that's why I've been trying to rein in some of these wonky little holes that I've found and incorporate it, weave it into my narrative, which makes some coherent sense, as well as that command and control structure. Yet, for example, with the divisional breakdown. So what I've decided to do now with the divisional breakdowns compared to his is divisional breakdown can only occur if that unit is adjacent or in the same hex as headquarters that it's under command of, and that headquarters is not in an enemy zone of control, contested or not. The other guy can be in a enemy zone of control, the combat unit, no problem, but not the headquarters. He's got other shit to worry about. Anyways, so that's going to be the attack. We'll give it a shot, see what happens. So because with the dude defending in Der Weltkrieg world, remember all the hex sides
That's what you got to look at. You don't look at the whatevers. That's the way the world works in here. And so let's say I'm attacking this way and I was only attacking that way. It wouldn't matter because this guy can pick adjacent hex sides to attack from. He's always going to want to pick the best one he can, which is going to be woods here. That's going to give the attacker a -2 on their die roll, and he's going to get a +1. He's Russian, so I will need to get 1/3 the amount of hits inflicted on whatever's there to force a retreat. If he was German or Austrian with German troops in it, it would be 1/2. So here we go. I've got my core HQ here. So the green guy here, usually I put the supply points in the bottom right. That's just telling me I've got 4 supply points. Usually I have on the bottom left would be the strength points. So, and yet again, this is just for me. I can't stand stacking, as well as I'm trying. This is massive, man. I want to do a lot of stuff. And yet again, I've showed this with Charles in one of the other videos way back when. I was like, look, Charles, look how quick I can do this. And then I went across the whole flipping map in, I think, a minute and a half and was able to calculate all the strength point totals for every single freaking army. Okay? You try doing that with stacks all over the flipping place. Not going to happen. I can go read a book and you're going to still be doing it. So forget it. Does it look aesthetically pleasing compared to what all the other stuff that what you're normally used to and so on and so forth? Maybe not, but guess what? In my world, it works. I love it. I'm never going back. This is it. I want to look at this from a general staring at it, a freaking war table or whatever, going, okay, what the hell? I need information quick to make some decisions. I don't have to sit here for 300 freaking years doing whatever. I can do that somewhere else. I want to sit down here and go, okay, quick. Where are my cavalry? Where's the enemy engineering units? I don't maybe know everything, but I would like to know as much as possible. Don't get me bogged down in the micro detail. I'll deal with that later. Right now, I just want, like, yet again with this game, talked about, Mike was mentioning there again, the game with the paintings, looking at a painting. It's exactly the way to look at this map. It's the bifocal view of it. And yet again, it's got that thing where you can go operational or tactical, as far as I'm concerned. You go right down in this micro. Maybe that's where it starts getting into that weird thing about, I was talking about this game almost seems, and Mike actually was the first person that mentioned it, about seems to have an identity crisis when it gets to later on when you started bringing up like a bazillion modules and so on and so forth. You can see it here. Where's it works beautifully, but it's like, yeah, to a certain point, when you start bringing all the fronts in, you want to start doing this massive war at this detail. You want to also have this operational level and also still be able to do this minutia of like, oh, this, there, the other thing, and start moving free. I mean, I've spent the last live stream, I spent a significant amount of my time just moving and recording in my book, strength points, moving this, there, and the other where. Of 5th Reserve Brigade went this way. Blah, 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 blah. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love that stuff. But if you think I'm going to do that for a freaking entire war for all the fronts, it ain't going to happen, man. I just don't have enough time. That's just not going to happen. And it's also going to kill the other thing, which I absolutely adore. And it's I would say almost more important than this, and that's the narrative, the storytelling. I'm off into a bazillion wonderland here, man. Why it's taking me so long sometimes to do a certain moves? It's not just because I'm taking the time, like I've heard before, analysis paralysis. It's not just that. My mind is already snapping into thinking about little, tiny little micro narratives that have occurred because I've moved like the 36th, infantry division that have been stuck there near the Boog River Bridge, or I've been trying to move other divisions over there before the final push because they were so, important for what happened for so flipping long. That type of stuff. Anyways, so I want to always be there is what I'm trying to say. So here we go. And there's no way I'm going to do the whole world, like the whole war bit that way. That's where I'm loving the incorporation of the week that was live streams every Saturday, reading up in history, getting to chit chat with you guys about it. That motivation of, okay, I got to get more, I got to get some more content ready for next week. it's bringing this right back into the game. Like it just feeds right back into it, you know. And so when Hissy was saying about gifts to you, those are my all gifts. And it just keeps coming back. It's just like flooding. It's never going to stop. It's just insane. Anyways, let's. I got to find out all the details here. So I'm going to give it a shot. Getting awfully close to Kielce here, and there's Radom. If we can just knock out. Well, they've tried. The Russians did try. They just should have maybe moved a bit more. Oh well, that's the way it goes. I'll deal with that later. Okay, we'll just do one combat, and that'll be that. Let me get my books out. And I'm not going to bring out the other freaky, crazy cameras and all that stuff. So, but I will have to write some notes so I don't lose everything. But man, guys, this has just been such a joy to be sharing it with you guys, and you guys have been helping me out so much. And it's also just on the other stuff of these weirdo, crazy ass connections. Like here, you know, like a few weeks ago, start talking about submarine warfare and whatnot. And then that very same freaking week, Hissy Cat's doing a freaking U-boat video, live stream on I'm like, what the hell is this? These weirdo like that, those type of connections. I'm just like, this is nuts. Or, you know, like I said, I was yabbering with one of my colleagues from work who's from Belgium. And he's like, oh, so what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm talking about submarine warfare in World War I. He's like, he was the one who said, oh, by the way, did you know there was a Belgian cavalry regiment that captured a German U-boat off the coast of Calais? I'm like, what the is going on with this world, man? So, yeah, lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Okay, so that's Russian Group 54. All right, so I'll go and look up what the hell's in Russian Group 54. Probably not a lot. Like I said, everybody now has got nothing left, man. There's just there's no one left. That's why the Russians are in a whole heap of trouble, because both sides, I didn't realize that it was the Austrians as well that are allowed to strip their garrison forces. It's just the Russians that are not allowed to. So here's where this is not a Dave Schroeder thing you can do. If you can see that, but that's something I've done, and it's part of the divisional breakdown, which he would say, what the hell are you doing? But in his world, his way of doing divisional breakdown is, okay, you want to break down, let's say, a 4-4 Russian division into two 4 brigades. You would then go to your dead pile in your whatever and grab 2 of them randomly. I'm thinking, wait a flipping minute. I understand what you're doing, but there's 2 problems with this. One, what happens if I don't have a dead pool? So now I can't divisionally break down? That's not fair. So that's pretty artificial. That doesn't make any flipping sense. And secondly, that's not very historical. So are you telling me that the Russian 14th Infantry Division all of a sudden is now magically transformed into the 54th Reserve Infantry Brigade and the 72nd Siberian Brigade? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I was like, screw that shit. So I'm already off into Wonderland anyways. So I was like, well, why not just go online, which you can. There's a bazillion websites out there. And I went and looked up the Russian 4th Infantry Division, the 41st Infantry Division. You find out how they were made up. So I found out that, okay, one of them, they have, it seems like a lot of the Russian brigade divisions were that way. It's like 1st Brigade, 2nd Brigade, you know, blah, 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 blah. And so I broke them up, and I broke them up into 4 regiments. So I could divisionally break down and have 4 1-strength counters. They're paper thin, but at least I'm making some zones of control and plugging up some flipping holes until I can bring some reinforcements, please. And so now I've got the 164th Infantry Regiment from the 2nd Brigade of the 41st Infantry Division. That's historical. That makes a hell of a lot more sense to me than just randomly grabbing some freaking counter from the dead pool. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sticking with my world. All right, so that's 1 strength point. So 1 hit, they're gone, man. 1 hit wonder. and it's too late now. I've already committed. This is where I was thinking, like I was mentioning about the reconnaissance and so on and so forth. I was talking about Ken when he was mentioning when he started doing the Vassal module and saying, "Hey, Chris, what do you think about?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I love it. This is like so up my alley." When he was saying, "How about incorporating expending supply points to add more detail to reconnaissance? You want to spend 2 supply points, maybe able to find out really find out this guy's got 15 strength points sitting there. That guy's got whatever, rather than just saying, well, he's got more than 5, but less than 20 or something, you know what I mean? That type of stuff. So that would be kind of cool. But anyways, we're going up against Mr. Paper Thin, so this ought to be interesting. So you guys may actually see, because it's been for the longest time, man. Well, I've just been doing the Russian. That has been one of the worst turns I've ever seen any freaking side ever have in this game. Was the Russian turn down in Galicia. That was a disaster beyond disaster, and it was so amazing. I sent all my freaking, well, it was like, okay, master plan. Everybody will take Lemberg by the end of November. Now, forget that's going to happen. All my freaking supply, all my freaking reinforcements practically have gone straight towards the 8th, 3rd, and 5th Army down there. What happened? I guess, I don't know. It's almost like, it just... I just blew my load way before it should have. I shouldn't have pulled the trigger so quick. But and it was a disaster. Well, as you know, some of you guys know, the 8th Army's collapsed. Brusilov's a mess. In my world, he's a joke. He's off to Deskland. I think I mentioned that earlier in this bit. And now 3rd Army Ruski is basically taking up all the rest of his troops and still made a mess of that. So. What a disaster. Anyways, here, let's go to this 1 strength point thing. So it looks like it just be getting worse and worse. But like I said, when I get to the Russian turn, which may not be right off the bat, because yet again, I'm not doing what you're supposed to be doing in Der Weltkriegland. I started right off the bat, which is I'm rolling for initiative, which means this is the end of 01 November at the end, once the Central Powers finish this move. Then I'm rolling for initiative, which means the Central Powers may get the jump on the Russians for 02 November, and that's just the way it goes. And I've been playing it that way. So it could be a double whammy. Such is life. Okay, let's see what else is going on. So we got the 164th Infantry Regiment from the 4th Army. Who's the 4th Army? So that's... why do I keep doing that? 4th Army. I thought 4th Army was... hold on. Where's my first one? 3rd Army's Ruski. Salza. Anton von Salza, 4th Army. And he was the guy that was supposed to go for Krakow right away, which he did. But he did it his own way kind of thing and avoided contact like there was no tomorrow. And went along the Nida. Along the Nida and the double rail along there, along Chesova and everything, and almost worked out. Oh, well, it did. Like I said, they had 3 towns and then got freaked out when the Germans went, what the hell are you doing in Silesia? Lost their freaking marbles. All right, so we got that one. So you're 1 strength point, and then I'm going up against, so these guys here, number 8, with 2, see, it's probably going to be all like single dudes now. There's not going to be like, for example, if... actually, I should put the strength points there just for now. Hold on. Where's my forceps? Where are they? What did I do with them? Uh-oh. Been moving around and dinking around. I don't know where the hell they are, and I'm going to need them. Do you guys see them anywhere? Oh, shoot. So I can't... I'll go upstairs and grab some if I can't find them. Because there's no bloody way in hell I can... I'm not touching the Alberto markers. Excuse me, without my forceps. What the hell did I do with them? My glasses here. My water's here. I can go to the kitchen. As far as I know. Nope. What the hell did I do with you? Did I go to the living room? No. Where the hell are you, man? Well, I'm gonna have to go upstairs because I've got multiple copies of the forceps, but there's no flipping way I'm gonna be starting to screwing around with. Hold on, I'll be super quick. Yeah, I'm gonna check to see if I can get buy some overalls. I was wondering if that. Oh, there they are. You darn! Right on my rule books. I was wondering about grabbing some snagging some overalls, like like a farmer, Mr. Green jeans type of a thing. Okay, so we got the 164th Infantry Regiment for the Russians sitting there with 1 strength point. I might as well put the strength point on there, just for the heck of it. Yeah, I think this is the problem with, well, it looked good at the beginning. At least, in a weird way, I've got to think also too that, okay, maybe the Russians knew, or Von Salza here knew that they were probably going to go away for just sending the 1 strength point there, but in a sick way or whatever, he has slowed down the Germans. So maybe that'll give them a bit more time if they certainly do win the initiative to try to do something here with Kielce. Okay, so number 8 is going to be, let me grab my German stuff here. Hey Charles, so what after your what are you going to be playing board game wise? So these guys are the 6th Landwehr Brigade here. And number 14. You're the 19th Landwehr Brigade right over here. And number 83, you're a big honker, aren't you? That's the 36th Infantry Division. And what a difference, eh? They're at half strength with 4 strength points versus, and I'm down here in Wonderland playing with the Austrians and Germans half the time. I mean Russians, and they're topped out lots of times. Especially the Hungarian troops versus the Austrian ones are topped out at 4. And here you've got this German guy half strength, and he would be topped out at 8. I'm like, you son of! It's just such a different world. Okay, so these guys are going to use, remember, it's 1 supply point per 4 strength points. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, because all 3 can link up on here, and he'll be. So I'm going to move this guy away from a 4 to a 2. Yeah, and I'll be. I'm gonna actually feel like I'm starting to get woozy hungry or something or whatever. I've got that amazing stupid knack for forgetting to do stuff like that, and then it's like, well, why is the world looking weird? It's like probably because you haven't eaten in several hours, you stupid idiot. But where the hell are you here? There we go. All right. So now that's going to be, and I'll try to bring up. I know that for the other ones, I had that nice little. So remember, I was saying it's going to be -2 to the die roll and for the attacker, and +1 for the counterattack, and they got a really good chance of doing something. You can see, I think they just don't have to roll a 1. I'll try here. Actually, what I was saying, I think there was a. Don't we have a? I could have put the combat results table. You just have to believe me, guys. Basically, if I even on a 0 with 8 strength points, I'll do 1 hit. The most I can do is 3 with an 8. You can see that. I don't know what you can see, but so something like that. Anyway, so they got a really good chance. And you're not going to be able to see the die roll. Well, actually, you can. I'll just bend it down, I think. Hold on. Yeah, I had it nicely set up for the other whatever, but that's for, whatever. There we go. I'll move the microphone up to here. I think it's going to be relatively quick, actually. You can see that. Yep. And you can see my nice little stickers I was making there, the Nanguea sticker. I'll show you how to do that, Hissy, if you want. You make your own stickers. They're super duper easy to make, man. All right, so here we go. -2 to the die roll. Whoa, I thought that was going to be a 1. So that's a 0. They do a hit. Oh, they're lucky. But remember, it doesn't happen yet. Sorry, so I got the wrong one. So I don't know, yeah, for you guys that don't know how the combats go. So no hits are inflicted yet, but it is forcing the Russians to retreat. I'll put it back. Oh, well, that doesn't matter. I'll just put it back. You don't need to really believe me. I hope. There we go. I don't know what you can see there. You can see that. Here. There you go. So the Russians will be forced to retreat, but of course they'll be destroyed at the end of that because they only have 1 strength point. But they still get to make a counterattack. So now it's up to the Russian Fourth Army, von Salza, to decide whether or not he wants to supply the counterattack, and he's going to say no. Reason, what's the flipping point? That is such a wasted supply. That you would be using 1 supply point for 1 strength point that's being forced to. It's just not worth it. So what does that mean? So that means your counterattacking is halved, but then it's obviously rounded back up. But since it's unsupplied, it's doubled, not tripled. So he will counterattack with two strength points and gets +1 to their die roll because of the woods. Okie doke. So there we go. And I'll tell you what he gets. Ooh, a 6. So that's a 7 on a 2. He inflicts 1 point of damage. And the way they have it in Der Weltkrieg is there's an order of way of taking your hits. So if it was an attacking cavalry, which is ironic that I mentioned it now because I didn't realize that at the beginning. I was doing it for all the cavalry. So your attacking cavalry would take hits first. Then it's all attacking infantry, and so on and so forth. And you also have to take them in a certain way. So you can't keep demolishing one division and leaving everybody fresh. It's like once you get to a certain reduced side, flip side, whatever, you would then be allowed to do the other ones, as well as when you advance after combat, if you're able to. You can't send your fresh troops in. You have to send in the people that took the hits, kind of thing. So yeah, he's making sure you're not being a little bit gamey, sneaky. So if that's the case, and the attacker always takes their hits first. Of course, it won't matter with the defender. The 145th Infantry Regiment, was it? Or whatever, they're gone. So they'll be eliminated. What number were they? Number 54. Hold on. I'll see what. I got the wrong guy here. Where are you, Mr. Russian? Where are you? There you are. No, it's 164th. So they'll be gone, but now I've got to look at what number. So somebody from 8, 14, or 83 has to go, and I'm pretty darn sure it's going to be number 83. Charles says number 1, 5 compass. The Africa. Yes. For 2 reasons, Charles. 1, I really want to see that flipping game played, and 2, it was as you know, I've got the Decision Games Desert Fox game. I've opened it up. I haven't played it, but the Grog Shed dude who lives in Ottawa would like to purchase it from me, and I'm okay with that. I know you're always saying don't get rid of your games, but hold on, listen to me. I'm okay with that for one reason. When I started actually looking at it, I went, man, this complexity level, it's just too much for you, Chris, for what you want to do for this game. In other words, I don't want to devote as much energy into Desert Fox and whatever as I am with this. So it's not worth it for me. And I was like, okay, maybe you should be looking at because I'd love to play an African campaign type or an African World War II game. but find something maybe that's not that problematic for your brain. And I think that one may be a good one for me to play. And it's available from William Aarons knows it, the company. They're Great Board Games in Kitchener. They are amazing. I get great deal. Like I told you, if let's say that your African campaign game was $50 American, I can buy it $50 Canadian. Hello, that's massive for me. I don't have to deal with customs fees as well. So that is one I've been looking, is on my radar. I'm thinking of like, well, maybe that's the skill level for you or complexity level. I'm not saying it's whatever, but maybe that's what I should be looking at, that type of game. So if you're going to be playing it, awesome. And what do you say? My armored mice versus some armored humans with a couple of, oh man, awesome. Loving it. Okay, let me take a look at this. What the hell I was going to say? So somebody from 814 or 83 has to go. Well, take a hit. So it's not number 8. Well, I could, but I'm not going to. They've only got 2 strength points, so I certainly don't want to take them out. 14 is the same thing, another 2 points, and that's just another Landwehr Brigade. So number 83, that's my big boy. Oh, well, it's not really. It's half strength. Oh, wait a minute. I may have to do the other guys first. That makes sense, because remember, I use divisional breakdown on these dudes. And you're saying, technically, if I was going to do the Dave Schroeder way or whatever about you have to reduce, these guys technically have not been reduced yet. You know what I mean? In a weird way. So maybe this is kind of like a penalty for me, which is I'm liking it then. I'm not getting away with everything. And it's like, okay, you wanted a divisional breakdown like a lunatic. You want to make all these kind of 1 and 2 strength point counters all over the place so you can plug up holes. Yeah, and you also want to make attacks with these guys to, up your points, like to get it up to 8 strength points. So I'm not wasting. I mean, it would have cost me 2 strength points. It would have cost me 2 supply points to supply 7 strength points. The same thing, right? And it's a big difference, 7 to 8. You look at the results table. There's this weird jumps all of a sudden, like 4 to 5 is quite. I find a big diff. So that kind of is like in a weird penalty. Now I've got to reduce one of my regiments, which are only 2 strength points, down to 1, which I could, if I had been able to do my 4 down to 3, at least that guy can take another hit and even 2 more hits and still not disappear. Whereas now one of these guys are going to be turning into the 164th, or a version of the Russian 164th regiment, and that they just took 1 hit and they're about to go. What did he say here? He's got to say, I love watching this stuff. Oh, cool. Hissy. And I don't know. And you, on a side note, Hissy, about Charles, I'm not saying you were whatever, but Charles, man, your attitude, man. I just love the way you, the way you go about things playing is freaking awesome. I love it. It would be, I'd love to play with you some afternoon. I think I get my arse kicked, but it would be great. Okay, so this guy's gone, and this is what I'm trying to do, is get rid of all these freaking entrenchments. And I'm going to try to do that as well with my Germans now. Like I said, it's approaching the end. We're getting into Christmas, man. It's 1 November. If I have enough strength points available to be able to leave somebody in a hex to entrench and still advance, I will. If I don't, I will not entrench in certain positions. There's no effing way. I told you before, for what I want to do here towards the Kriegfrosch, going towards Stavka up towards here, which is, oh, darn it, I used to remember the name of the town. Balinor or something like that. And that was, anyways, this is on the side note. But yeah, I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry, guys. My mind is starting to turn to mush. So okay, so they're gone. Number 54. Did I get room? Nope. And now, so that means one of these guys has to take up the position. Might as well, I would assume you would do number 14, which would make the most sense. So he'll advance, but I've got to reduce that guy by 1 strike point. And of course, the Russians could do that to me next turn. But that's the way it goes. Ugh. That blows me away, man. I've been playing this flipping game for a year. Where are you? Right here. All right, so we'll leave it at that. I think that's pretty good for me. I'll just kind of like wander on down here. Here, I'll put it on to the master map again quickly. If I can, if it has a conniption fit. I got to admit it. I'm pretty impressed that it does. Yeah, there you go. Good one, man. Thanks. Yeah, and what else can I say? I can't wait to go back to the the camcorder bit. The resolution is just so good, and the zooming is just amazing. But okay, guys, what else can I say? It's getting super late for me. I'll pop to the back. I don't know what else to. Honestly, I cannot ever in a billion years possibly adequately thank you in every, even like, I'm not kidding, I'm not trying to be whatever, I'm being absolutely 100% serious. This has been incredible, and it just keeps going, and I'm just stunned. Like, this has only happened, I've only, like I said, I've only been playing this particular game for 1 year, and I only got really into Hex Encounter wargaming, you would say, the October previous to that. So what's that, October 2021? That's pretty incredible to go from basically not knowing barely anything to being able to interact with you guys, having a live stream every Saturday, having real like friend, like I'm telling you, man, you have no idea what it was like one day when Charles Latour said to me, "Good night, William, man. I hope you like Greek music." When Charles once said in a comment, he says, "I hope you don't mind. I consider you a friend." This was months ago. I was just like, "Wow, that just knocked my socks off." And also the interaction yet again, like I said, with Ken, and at the beginning when he approached me and said, "Hey, do you want to try and play? Can we try to play a game together, one of the Valkyrie?" And that was at the time when I was like, "Yes, I can do anything. I can, let's try the go. Let's." Even though I will say that at that point, I even said to him several times, I said to Ken, can we maybe start a little bit smaller and maybe work our way up here? Because that Gorlitza Tarnif breakthrough game looks awfully freaking big. And as you can see, if you look at some of my whatever, it's huge. I was like, maybe can we start maybe a little bit smaller, like maybe and work our way up. And I also remember I have no vassal experience. So I was like, this is a lot of learning curves here for me, guys. That kind of stuff. So, yeah. And this is just in a year and a bit. Holy moly, man! Thank you so much. And I'm still learning like a bazillion things. I get to watch all this extra stuff. Even starting to, with Hissy Cat and Not Jay and everything, and all those guys, like, really, I'm not very model oriented and whatever. It's like, hey, and miniatures. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember those things. And also just the very open, like I said, repeatedly, just that open attitude of who gives an F, of not a defiant way of just as in like we're just doing our thing and we're just in. It was so nice. I can remember a few times saying some wacky comments, which I felt kind of a bit vulnerable to say on their live streams or whatever. I was like, oh God. And I remember once McMurray or whatever just saying, "Oh, that sounds great. That sounds awesome," or whatever. I was like, what the hell? Like, that's so cool. It's so inviting. And it also makes me want to share more. I mean, isn't that the whole point kind of thing? I love it. So thanks, guys. It's going to keep on going. One thing I wouldn't mind doing, we'll see if that works out, is I
So I haven't played it in the Dog's Age, and we'll stop it at this because you guys haven't seen it. But I really want to show you guys all my miniatures. And I think maybe I'll do that for my proper. Because remember, this is my 1 year playing this game, not 1 year on YouTube. My 1 year on YouTube would be April. The Wednesday after the the marathon, the Notch, Hissy Cat, the whole 9 yards live thing. But I want to show you guys all my freaking biblical 15 millimeter miniatures. And I've been wanting to play for so flipping long. So I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I'll do it on that Wednesday. I'm just going to, I'll set up my tabletop. I can't do it over here. This is the table here you're seeing right now. Because I wanted to get a better map and get rid of the old dust stuff. But it's too low. This is my miniatures table that I've been using for ages. And I think I mentioned to a few other people, I've mapped out a certain area in my back thing to scale. Like I know exactly like this. I can, like when I go and do my walks, I can go, oh my God, this is like so far away on my gaming table. Like I know this takes 33 minutes to walk this distance, normal pace, and 16 minutes this way, and so on and so forth. This is like totally cool. I'm like, okay, that's wherever. So I can see chariots in my mind when I'm walking, you know, or biking or whatever to the river. In my mind, sometimes I'm like, oh, I can see those chariots off on the high ground, or the general looking over and seeing what the hell's going on. But I want to play this game. I haven't played it in ages. Yet again, you think I play a game according to the rules? Nope. I just veered off with DBA. I realized it's very tournament based. That's what it's geared towards. I understand, and bazillion other people, so do I, play it at home and do, you know, scenario based stuff and historical games and you set up so on and so forth. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it my own way. And that's what I've done. I'm starting to incorporate all kinds of things, skirmishers and whatnot. I find make a lot more sense in my world. I love my command and control structure. Rob's played it a couple of times. He loves the game. Stefan's played it. He's like, oh, it makes total sense. In other words, we're just playing it. What I would call it is Hollywood historical. It's certainly not simulation or whatever, but I just enjoy playing it. We get yet again talk about history. We talk about Assyria. Talk about differences between the kingdom of Judah and Israel and so on and so forth. No. Anyways, that's it. So I'd love to do that type of stuff. You haven't seen anything. And I'll tell you one thing, Hissy, when yet again, like you guys, no apologies, no nothing. I'll show you a close up. All 99.9% of all my miniatures are painted with Deco Art, dollar store paint, or whatever. I tried using I did buy a set of the Game Color stuff, and it is such, I think I mentioned it in one of your guys' live streams, it's such a different painting technique. I gave up. I was like, I'm so stuck in my ways of Art Deco dollar store paint crap. Whatever. I paint super slow. I've ruined I am a paintbrush butcher. I'm a serial killer of paintbrushes. I've used more paintbrushes than you can shake a stick at. I'll tell you one thing about dollar store paint, which you may notice about. It's chunky. It's not great. And I don't dilute. Yep, no. I don't. The only time I would ever do like washes or whatever is probably like for a wicker shield or something like that. Not into it. And I'm mind-bogglingly slow at painting. You wouldn't believe it. Horribly slow. Actually, I'll show you my pharaoh, my Kushite Egyptian pharaoh, and then I'll leave it at that. But anyways, I'd love to do. Most of my miniatures for 15 millimeter stuff is biblical, and I'm extremely interested in, I would say, this. I guess what would it be? The 7th century BC, the 600s. So, like basically the last bit, like Ashurbanipal and whatnot, in the fall of Assyria and whatnot, and just spectacular stuff. There's just so much going on, man. There you are. And yet again, Kushite Egyptian. From what the little bits that I've read about, they tried to incorporate a lot of the Egyptian
traditions and whatnot into their own whatever, like anyways, I love it. So this guy, yeah, I love him to bits. Not my best painted, but one thing I'll show you later that you'll see is what I do with all my miniatures. So every army has a different color base. So all the Kushite Egyptians will have that yellow, and everybody has a slightly different type of basing. Yeah, so you'll see so I can look down and go, okay, this, you know what I mean? It's these guys are whatever's. Also, I know other people love it. I can't stand miniatures that slide around on the table. Drive me up the flipping tree, man. Like, you've no idea. So I use this stuff, not this one, but you can see a little bit of it. It's the Woodland Scenics. The Woodland Scenics Desert terrain stuff. It's super ultra cheap. But I found that if you glue felt to the bottom of these bases, it's like fucking Velcro, man. Like, practically, I'm like, thank you, Lord in heaven. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Which is ironic in a weird way, because I'm the opposite of a lot of DBA tournament people, which is, well, wait a minute. Your miniature is one whisker away from, therefore you're not in contact with me. All that crap. I'm like, oh, for God's sakes, give me a fucking break. This is ridiculous. I want to play a fucking game, man. This is absurd. And you're getting so specified into this. Have you not clued in? We're playing with little freaking metal miniatures, for God's sakes. We're playing with toys. Hello, Earth calling. Anyways, I'm like, you know what? As long as we're within like a half base width, or we can just talk this out. Isn't this a bit more interesting? Like, that's why I stay away from tournament now. I didn't sign up for the tournament DBA this year, which I felt bad because I want to support them that way. But I'm like, you know what? I've had enough grief of sitting down, and all I want to do is play a freaking game with you and scratch my head because you've come up with some crazy, amazing tactic, and I've got to figure out a way around it. And this is cool. But you're more interested in, whoa, your shield isn't painted to Roman. Back off, man. I was like, this is retarded. Like, this doesn't, like, you're ridiculous. Or I'm just like, you know what? If you want to do that, go for it. But I don't want to be part of that world, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't have time for that crap. What I'm trying to say is I shouldn't judge you. If you want to do that, go for it, man. But leave me alone. I don't want to be part of that universe. So yeah, that's why I stay away from that tournament. It's enough grief. I had 2 years in a row of it. Some people were super nice. Like, I had some great. We usually have 4 rounds of players, but I can just remember sitting there. I'm like, okay, I've got 45 minutes of this. I've got to sit here and listen to this guy freaking grumble for 45 minutes about, well, that doesn't look like an Auxilia stand, or, oh my God, I'm just like, please, Lord in heaven, shoot me now. Or that's where usually what I do, I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to make stupid moves so that way he can crush my army and we can get this over with and I can get to the next round and play hopefully with somebody who's like half decent and just like, hey, super nice. Wow, nice looking painting guys you do, or we chit chat. I can remember the first time I sat down, the very first time to play DBA, super duper ultra excited. Okay, and I'll show you the guys I went to. They didn't even have an army yet, so I bought them off of eBay, the cheapest I could find. I'll show them to you. It was Book Force Serbian Army, ironic as it is. And I'm not even into Book Force stuff. I don't know if you guys know about DBA, but it's all separated into books. So Book 4 is like medieval-ish type stuff. Let's see if I can find them. So these guys, they look really good. I didn't pay very much for them. They're really cool. Minis are contact sports. Yep. So these guys, they're like half decent. I was just really happy to actually finally play DBA at Can Games because I used to stare at them always doing. There was a zillion people playing Can Games, but not anymore. I think most of them were 2.2 players, and a lot of them in North America. From what I know, like I said, I'm still naive. Broke apart, said, no, we're sticking with 2.2 and you guys can go play your 3.0. And other people made other games like ADLG, I think, morphed came from there and Triumph and all that other stuff. But they're good. They're fine. They did me good. However, you want to see this, and this is the very first game. Imagine this is you trying to like make me want to come back and play your flipping game with you guys. So the guy I bought it from eBay, he has a bunch of generic camps that he makes. Every army in DBA, you need an encampment. So he made a camp out of this. It looks like a little trench works or whatever, just like styrofoam and toothpicks or whatever. Works for me. I added a little bit of extra tufts to his base and that, whatever. No big deal. First thing, guy chuckles at me. Is that styrofoam? Oh my God. I'm like, I have to deal with this type of crap again. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have a freaking thing that was sculpted by Michelangelo that was painted by fucking Leonardo da Vinci. Like, what the hell is your fucking problem, man? Good Lord. Like, I admire that stuff. I love it. But if this is all your end all be all, you got some freaking issues as far as I'm concerned. That's just me. But I will show you before we finally go. Two things. I will show you two encampments, or one for a specific encampment that I'm using. This is from for the Zagros Zagros Highlander Kingdoms, a Book One army, obviously, around the Zagros Mountains. So, anyways, this is from a picture of an actual statue. And I asked an artist colleague of mine, I think I've mentioned her before, Bailey Wright. I'm going to have to send you her stuff. And I commissioned her, not much. I think I gave her $20 in a beer or something ridiculous. And she made, I could show you the actual picture. But this is a one-off. No one else has this. I'm like, oh my God, I can use this for an encampment. I'm going to stick this on I just buffed it up and changed it up. This is like some World War II thing I picked up at the Southeast London War Games group, the Selweg Open. They have a convention or a one-day thing, but I was thinking that would look half decent for like a pretend, like on a mountain pass, maybe where soldiers offered a sacrifice or gave a little offering to one of their gods, before going off to war kind of thing. I thought that would be a nice little encampment. And I'll show you one other encampment, which is one of my favorite armies or kingdoms or empires. Well, they were an empire, the Empire of Urartu, who caused Assyria a hell of a lot of grief off and on. But I have a very special camp that was made for me. The only thing I did was paint the 2mm resin figure you can see. But Urartu were really well known for their fortress kingdoms. Fortresses all around their border areas. And the person that did this, I got to watch this made for me in front of my face over several days. It was freaking amazing. Made from scratch. And this person, okay, for example, I remember I told you about blueberries. There's a blueberry bush hidden in this freaking encampment. I've got to show it this. I'm going to have to do like a proper segment to show you this. It's under glass. Well, it's under plastic. Hold on. Because the dust, I don't want this encampment just knocks my socks off. I just want to play Der Weltkrieg DPA tournament game with my Urartu army, and I'll show you that army on April 4th. So this was made from scratch, guys. I don't know if hopefully I can show this properly. Just absolutely. So all I did was the fort. So don't start going, wow, Chris, I didn't do anything else. This is from scratch. I watched this done in front of my face. Wait until I show you properly, but not with this crappy little camera. But if you see, well, you can't see, but see there, right there? Hold on. Right there. See them? So Some blueberries right there. Hissy, man, wait until you see it properly. It is jaw dropping. She did stuff for me that, like, I got to see it in ultra crazy detail. There's like a back stairway for, you know, the people to get the hell out of there. There's like little, she's got like a little waterfall stream in there. It's super lightweight. You should have saw the giant, oh yeah, Charles, man, it's jaw dropping. Like the rock, people are like, that's not real rocks. I'm like, nope. So yeah, this blueberry's right there. But like I said, I'll do a high res image of it. And that 2mm thing, you can get it from some company in England. But what a beauty, and it's their Middle East collection. Oh God, I will show you that to you some Wednesday. On the Wednesday, I have an entire 2mm and 6mm biblical city collection downstairs that I've done, that I want to paint up and do like I would love to do a little biblical city someday. You know, everybody's got their bucket list thingamajiggamabobs. But this thing, the only other thing I can kind of share, and then that's it. Let me go away. Yeah. And this is these are 6mm. I think, yeah, these are 6mm. So this is a little village I did. Nothing amazing. But see those cows and sheep, all those dudes, everyone you see there, as far as I know, are from Perfect Six. They're a company in England, and they, I think I mentioned to you, they are so good. They're the only people would ever do 6mm individually like that, like show them individually. Just jaw dropping. And they've got a great fantasy line. You can get some, I've got like a whole 6mm army sitting downstairs, unpainted, of course. But that's my little, just a little fantasy village that I use. Fantasy village, a little biblical village I use for DBA and Lord knows what's. But okay, that's it. That's it. Is that really, I'm going to pass out or whatever, or something. And what time is it? Yeah, it's 11:15. I'm almost going to feel like turning into you guys when you did that crazy ass thing a few Saturdays ago. Thanks again, guys. It was Hissy says I've never played with 6mm. Neither have I, Hissy. It was getting to that point where I just wanted to try to see if I could. This was yet again before I got into decided to switch over to Hex Encounter. I was trying to find ways of getting away from, because I'm just so well, that's how I got into DBA. Is originally I was playing LaSalle, Napoleonics, and painting at my absurdly slow pace. And that was all 1:72 scale. I'll bring those down when I do my Wednesday off, and I'll just do minis that day, which I would love to do anyways. So I'm painting absurdly slow, larger figures, and the rule system asks you to do, at bare minimum, 16 figures for one unit. And you need a lot of units for a Napoleonic army, as you can imagine. And I went, this is just getting, and I was only doing I was only doing War of 1812, so much smaller. Well, actually, I had to make up my own whatevers. Army battle stuff. I think they had Orders of Battle now. They have, but I haven't played it in ages. And they have a new version of LaSalle, which I wouldn't be interested in anyways. I like version 1. Thank you very much. Works for me. And it was the very first time, I'm not kidding you. Remember I was saying when I was a little kid going to Can Games and staring at the adults playing the Napoleonics games and going, oh my God. I can remember finally having LaSalle downstairs in the basement table playing, and you wait till I show you that primitive terrain. Holy smokes, you get to see some crazy ass primitive terrain. And talk about cheap. I used to go in springtime, found out that the purple loosestrife plants, the buds, if I let them dry, they're perfect trees. I was like, well, there we go. Let's glue them to freaking cardboard squares and throw some cat litter and coffee grinds. Away we go. Again. Like I said, I'm overtired, so I'm getting sidetracked with the LaSalle thing. Yeah, so I realized, okay, let's try to maybe go smaller scale and be able to do different rule systems. And I was like, okay, this is still not working out. And that's why I was like, okay, maybe we'll try Hex Encounter and go that way. And I was like, it's not as aesthetically pleasing or enjoyable
as my miniatures. But I was like, Chris, man, you're now able to explore. It's so much more efficient. Like, come on, wake up. Like you can. It's just in so many ways: storage, speed, breadth of stuff you can go through. Oh, let's try another scenario. As you know, just a zillion other things. New map, boom. There's your scenario, all your scenery's there. You don't have to worry about anything. A completely different world, and I love it to integrate it all together. That's why I've got the crazy ass counters and 3D printed stuff and whatever on it. But yeah, I'll show you all the miniature stuff. I would love to do that on that Wednesday, and we'll go through all the whatever's. But that's how I, like I was saying, Hissy, I tried to do different scales. 10 millimeter. I'm going to show you my 10 millimeter medieval figures. I love them. And if I had known about 10 millimeter when I started doing 15 millimeter, I would not have done 15 millimeter. I would have went straight to 10 millimeter. It's not that much of a difference in size for painting, to be honest with you. I can tell you one thing. When I went from 172 to 15 millimeter, I went, how the fuck is anybody able to even paint 15 millimeter? It freaked me right out. I was like, oh my God, it's so tiny. And then you get it. I adjusted so quickly. And then it was like, when I started looking at 10 millimeter, I went, oh my God, look how tiny you are. And you're like, no, you're not really that much tinier than the 15. It's kind of like the same way of, 15 to 1 to 72, or it's not. You're getting into that, especially as a lot of people scale creep. But it's like you're not 15, you're 18, man. Come on, like enough's enough. I've had some miniature manufacturers. I've had to actually hack off the bases because I'm like, otherwise it looks like everybody's going against the land of the giants, or someone drank a lot of milk. In that nation kind of thing. It's like, holy F. So anyways, yeah, and I would have loved to have stayed at 10 millimeter or would have gone into it because now like there's a lot of people of some beautiful ranges in biblical ranges in the 10 millimeter. I'm like, and actually, I'll be honest with you, I find a lot of the 10 millimeter biblical ranges more specific for each armies. You're going to notice, I don't know if people have noticed, you'll go on like Essex or Magister Militum, and you'll see 15 millimeter Canaanite slinger. I'm like, looks a hell of a lot like a 15 millimeter Assyrian slinger type of thing. It's because they're just mixing and maxing. That's why another thing. I was told actually by Tony Aguilar, way back when I was complaining when I purchased my Albanian Book 4 army so I could have a matched pair tournament wise against my Serbians that I had picked up. And I was like, there's some weird stuff coming because I bought an army pack from Essex. And Tony Aguilar wrote back to me saying, friends, don't let friends buy Essex army packs. In other words, pick your own figures. Look at the list that are the figures that you need for your army to make an official tournament army, and select from there and go to forums and ask other people what figures should you pick rather than going with what the company thinks you should go. And trust me, man, I found a ton of mistakes over the years. I can remember writing to Magister Militum saying, remember we were talking about feedback and they didn't come back to me. And I'm like, excuse me, just to let you know, you say that this is DBA 3.0 Army Pack, but actually I've got the purple book in front of my flipping face. And I'm looking at your army composition for your whatever. It could be, I don't know, early Goody or whatever. And it's like, sorry, that's not what the Goody Revolt army list looks like in the purple book. That type of stuff. You've missed these things. I can see why, because they've had to adjust from 2.2 to 3.0. And some of them have kept both army lists available. That must be crazy. Like, for example, Essex does it. So that's that. Okay, and that's it. I think I really should head off into Wonderland. What do you think? I've never played. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Hope you had fun. I did. Actually, it was weird. Like I was saying with Zoe is right. I should have maybe started off the morning
live stream scripted and jumped into the whatever rather than just jumping into the unscripted deep end, because I was like, the hell's going on kind of thing. And and then well, it was good though to put on the running narrative for my thing and go on. But to be honest with you, I'm enjoying this second stint a lot better. It was just to sit back and also chit chat. So that's what I wanted to do quite a bit also with the first birthday thing, was to talk about the game in general. Not just, like I said, not to bash Der Weltkrieg. I've just been playing a game for so long, even in whatever format you want to call it, not tournament mode or whatever. But of course, if you spend long picking long enough at a thread, you're going to start unraveling little bits. But how, I don't know what people consider Der Weltkrieg, other people. And I've said this before, and I'm not kidding you. If somebody said to me, Chris, it's going to cost you $10,000 for this game, 10 grand to get what you're going to get out of it. Yep, I'd do it. I've spent 10 grand on other things, and I certainly didn't get as much enjoyment out of it as I'm getting out of it sharing it with you guys. So that to me would be 10 grand, well worth it. And if I was still having to pay off the loan for it, no problemo. I'll do that. So I've, to me, this has been, wonderful. Okay, that's it. Charles. Always have fun. Do you know what my special effing thing is? That's Morse code for fun. Right down there. That was my, that's my thing here. For StreamYard, they always ask you to put in some stupid title. And 9 times out of 10, I always freaking forget to change the title or the description for my live stream. So I'm always like, nope, wrong date, but oh well. So anyways, I was thinking, yep, that's perfect. We'll just type in, for a variety of reasons why I just wanted to use fun in Morse code. If I used other words, obviously, my thing would have been this long. It would have taken forever. I was like, I didn't want to jam up the screen with like a bunch of real estate with Morse code, the dots and dashes. So I was like, oh, fun, perfect. And Charles, man, you snapped me on the right. Well, you always do anyways, man. Anyways, okay. Freaking awesome, dudes. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go and listen to a bit of ambient music. So, or whatever. I'll try not to put on I'll put on Martin Stutzer. Let's go off into Wonderland and sleep, and then maybe some nature sounds of birds chirping, and then off to sleep. Okay, good luck with your car. Shouldn't have mentioned that, shouldn't I have, Charles? Good luck with everything. I'll see you guys tomorrow or wherever, and I can't wait to see what the hell you guys get up to with the marathon next Saturday. And good night to you as well, Hissy. By the way, Hissy, remember I said I'm down to one flipping country. Even if John Longshore, anybody, we're only down to 1 or 2 countries, right? Yes, 2. Bulgaria and Romania. I need somebody to take Bulgaria, and I need somebody to take Romania. And that's all you need to do is say, I'll come to you someday and go, you want to join the Entente? Want to join the Central Powers? Or do you want to stay neutral? But this is what you're going to, if you go with me, look at all the beautiful goodies we'll give you or potentially give you. Like, for example, I'm already, like I said, for an enticing offer I want to give to Italy is saying to Italy, as the Entente, we will thumbs up either way. So if the Entente lose the war and you want to gain lots of Austrian territory, as Great Britain, we'll say, good for you. We'll go for what you want to do. You can take Trieste and all kinds of crazy ass shit along the Adriatic, whatever. And also take parts of Albania that you've landed on. Or B, if the Entente win, we'll let you do that as well. But we need you to allow us access some kind of line of supply or communication to Serbia through Albania. Can you do that? That kind of thing is what I'd like to do. So I need somebody for Romania. I need somebody for Bulgaria. That's it. Okay. I guess I'll be walking Granner to school. When's that? Monday? Or do they do Sunday school? I don't know what you guys do there. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. That's it. Thank you so much, guys. See you later. Bye. Where the hell is my thingamajig?